In days of old when I was old, it was pretty slow. But yeah, and in the on-race series, the grid amended car 33, 2 tyres, 3 penalties. Yeah, right. So I've got to get rid of one of them. So I'll take one of them, one of them. So there we do that side, guys. It's so easy to make a mistake. Right, so 1, 2, 3. So there we are. So in the first one, we're going to disqualify for qualifying. We have got a time. I've got 24, and then in the second one, car number 33. So with the actual not the same 32 James being awarded 6 points, and for that I have no idea for that.
Ah, hello everybody. Yes, the sun is shining here at Snetterton. It's like a summer's day, and just behind me we've got Sam Parker getting ready to go out in the Bilstein Roadsport Championship. Yes, the Caterham Motorsport season gets underway this weekend, as does the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy. Plenty of action coming up for you this afternoon. Actually quite a late start, isn't it? We're normally out and about already. A little bit of qualifying just finishing up, and then the first race of the day going to get underway. Let's go for a chat with Sam. Of course, raced last season as well. And Sam, you're going to be taking over a lot of the media duties with Caterham today, so I get most of the day off. But here we are for race one. New livery on the car.
Yes, do you like it?
I do actually, yeah. The bright pink number plate looks cool, doesn't it?
It does. We've just done that because there's another car in our group that is very similar colour. So it's just to make mine stand out a little bit more. But this livery is the same as all the Caterham Experience cars. Yes. So if you come on a Caterham Experience day, you will see the same looking car.
Very on brand, Sam, indeed. Look, you raced last season. You obviously learned a lot last season. Yeah. What are you going to bring into this season that's different?
Do you know what? For me, this year is a bonus year. I didn't know if I was going to be racing this year. So this year is about having fun and enjoying it.
Yeah. And what can you do from here on the grid? Because we spoke a little bit earlier, didn't we? Qualifying, chaotic. That toe, how vital is that?
It's so strong, especially with, if you've got a tailwind or a headwind, it makes such a difference here. So obviously first lap, I just want to stay out of trouble, get it round, everyone get into their rhythm, and then hopefully we can go forward.
Not nervous, are we, Sam? We're not nervous.
I'm actually all right at the moment. I think it's because I'm talking to you.
I'm going to go. And look, we'll see you after the race, okay? I'll trade the microphone. Great to see you. Best of luck out there as well. Yeah, Sam's going to be taking over the interviews for the 270Rs, the 310s, and the 7 Championship a little bit later as well. Now, this man here, Richard Hay, he's in his happy zone, he said. A little bit earlier, I called him just sunbathing, just chilling out, relaxing, catching a few rays. And we're going to go for a little drink later as well, aren't we, Richard? But you're happy place behind the wheel at the Caterham?
Yeah, it's just fantastic, and what a great day for it as well, right? We've been dreaming about this all last season in the rain, so to have a little bit of sunshine like this, it's absolutely lovely. The tyres are good, the track feels fast, the car's nice and predictable, and to your point, I'm looking forward to a cold beer afterwards.
Do you know what? We often joke Snetterton's got its own climate sometimes, isn't it? A bit of wind, though.
Yeah, a little bit of wind, and we're feeling it down the back straight. There's a bit of a headwind there, so usually we'd be either topping off the limiter in 4th or into 5th. And on quali this morning, we were struggling to get that kind of speed. So you can see it in the deltas in the data. But I guess there's a little bit more on the main straight, but it's going to make it interesting in terms of overtaking down before the bridge there, I think.
One thing about Caterham's, it's close, it's exciting. I think most races last year were settled by not much more than 0.1 or 2 of a second. We're expecting the same this season?
I think in the front few, maybe. I'd love to be 0.1 or 0.2 of a second.
The pack is jammed everywhere, isn't it?
You never know.
Richard, enjoy the sun. Join you for a little drink later. Who knows? Let's keep going as well. A fantastic grid, always with the road sports as well. Let's jump in. Liam is just getting himself ready. Make sure the final helmet checks. Liam, are you ready?
Best I can be.
How are you feeling?
Qualifying didn't go the best.
Yeah.
About a second and a half down on my time. It is what it is.
It's the first race of the season. Is this one where you're like, look, just get it round, let's put a marker in and see where we are for race 2 tomorrow?
Just got to see how well I can do and do the best.
What do you make of Snetterton 300? Do you like it?
I like Snetterton. Race day last year, race day of today, so great track.
Top man. Look, thanks for talking to us. Best of luck out there, mate. Let's just make our way down to the front a little bit, actually, if we can. I'm sorry to do this to Danny, of course, because we're going to walk into the sun a little bit. Let's just go down here. I want to quickly chat to Aaron Oliver here in the yellow number 10. Actually, one thing I love about the case as well, a lot of them have quite decent, funny number plates as well. Got blue flag. Aaron's just got his name. Craig Evans has got blood written on the front, so we'll talk to him in a minute and find the story out about that. Let's just grab a quick word with Aaron. Aaron, the season starts here. What's your expectation in 2025?
Well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully make some moves in the race and we'll go from there.
No one's giving anything away, are they?
Everyone's very, very close to the chest.
Snetterton 300, what's the best part of the circuit, do you think?
I like the back straight, going into the bridge, getting some overtakes down around there. It's a bit of fun.
Agostini's good overtake opportunity.
That's good fun as well, yeah.
Top man, thank you for talking to us. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the race. You can probably hear the 7s are just finishing up qualifying. So let's go talk to Craig Evans, shall we? Talking about number plates. it says blood there. So let's find out why it says blood. Let's hope it's not a bad reason. This could be a disaster, couldn't it, Craig? Why do you have blood as your number plate? Remember, we are live.
It seems a lot more sinister than it actually is. Actually, a record company called Blood Records, but I do like that it kind of strikes fear into the enemies in front of me.
I was a little bit fearful of coming over to talk to you, actually, but you're really nice, so I didn't need to worry. Look, you need a pointy end here. What can we do?
I think get a good entry into turn one, try and defend down the inside line on the hairpin, and then hopefully build from there.
One thing we love about these Caterhams, isn't it? You can win from quite way back, can't you? So you can sense podium at least?
Oh, I hope so. There's a lot. I mean, tow's massive around here. We're finding in testing the last few days that you can be in a packed tow, and if you're at the back of it, you can end up at the front very easily. So hopefully that'll be me.
Good man. Craig, we'll be watching. Thank you so much for talking to us, talking to number plates as well. This one says, help me upside down, of course. Let's actually hope there isn't any help needed. And over here, just but next to us, is it me you're looking for? Which, funnily enough, is whenever I do comms checks, it's one of the songs that I always tend to sing. But Brian Thornton on pole position, the best possible place you could be. Brian Ford, first time for everything, but what a great start to the season.
Yeah, stunner, and sure, look at what a great day, great weather, so yeah, all a bit of fun.
You're obviously pretty strong, looking pretty strong here. Where do you think you were particularly quick round the circuit today? Everywhere. Everywhere. You're on pole.
The back end section was my best.
Okay.
Yeah, so back end onwards, everything else needs a bit of work. But
so survive the opening half of the lap and then go for it at the second.
If I can go off the line, I'll be a happy man.
Thanks for talking to us, bro. Really do appreciate it. Right, everybody, it is almost time to go. Checkered flag has fallen for the qualifying session for the 7th. So any minute now, the Road Sports will be heading out on track. Yes, the first race of the season for Caterham Motorsport. About to get underway at very sunny Snetterton. If you love close racing, this is the place to be. I'm going to hand over to your commentator. I'm delighted to say it is, of course, the legend. That is Dave Goddard. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Ian. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to sunny Snetterton, the home of motorsport in the east of England, for the first of 2 days of action here on BARC TV. Had a busy morning of qualifying as Caterham Motorsport get their 2025 season underway. 4 of their 5 categories racing here this weekend. We will see the Caterham Academy out the following weekend at Brands Hatch. But for this weekend, we kick off with the Bilstein Suspension Caterham Roadsport Championship, the second rung on the ladder, if you like. That's followed by our non-Caterham category today, the Virtue Mini Challenge Cooper Trophy Championship for the Mini Coopers. Then it's the Dutch Barn Vodka Caterham 7 Championship UK, the fastest cars we've got here this weekend. New sponsor for them this year. Also the Edge Caterham 270R Championship, the third rung on the ladder. And then we close out today with the Vertex Caterham 7 310R Championship ahead of a full day of racing coming up tomorrow as well, with another 11 races to come. 5 races this afternoon. Dave Goddard here taking you through the action, and Caterham expert Chris Hutchinson, I'm pleased to say, is alongside me. Chris, it's certainly been a long winter break, hasn't it?
Yep, and it's great to be here at Snetterton with the sun out and the weather looking like it's going to be glorious the whole weekend, and the drivers and myself ready to get this long off season away and tucked away and ready to get the action back on the tarmac where it belongs. And 4, like you say, of our 5 championships here today, and going to kick the action off with the road sports, but don't go anywhere over the course of this weekend. Do keep it here on BARC TV, because it's sure to be action from wall to wall.
We've just had our final qualifying session of the day, which was the Caterham 7 310R Championship, sponsored by Vertex. Hugo Bush has gone quickest there, despite losing a couple of laps for exceeding track limits. So he's done the best lap in that session there. Race coming up at the end of today's programme. But we kick off with the Bilstein Caterham Road Sports Championship, the second rung on the Caterham ladder. Tell us a little bit more about the cars, Chris.
Yeah, so if you were watching last year, this is all of last year's Academy. They have the option to step up into the next rung of the ladder, and basically they take their Academy car and they strap on the Toyo tyres, so a quick change of tyres, and they've also got a rear anti-roll bar, and that is what we call the Road Sport. That's as much as there is to it, and it's probably about 2 seconds a lap quicker just by the want of those new tyres. But drivers are obviously much more experienced, having had a whole season under their belts now. The new thing for them this year will be the fact they get 2 races every race weekend. In the Academy, they only get 1 single 20-minute race, but we're going to see them today for their first 20-minute race, and then they'll be back again tomorrow. So whatever the finishing order of this first race is, will be their starting order for their race tomorrow. Again, it's a big bumper grid out there. Awesome to see them all out there. Some of the drivers do choose to take additional steps from Academy, and we'll see some of those in the 270s. But yeah, the Road Sport, I loved the Road Sport when I did it way back in 2014, and it was one of my favourite years, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they all get on.
Well, last year's Road Sport champion was Paul Goldstein in his all-gold liveried car. Great character he is in Caterham racing. He's moved up this season to the 310R Championship, but we won't see him out till tomorrow, I believe.
That's right. He's actually over at Alton Park at the moment, racing in another race series, but he will be driving back rapidly overnight, and he's going to be joining the back of the 310R grid tomorrow. But here you can see the Road Sport cars then in the assembly area down the bottom end of the Snetterton circuit here, and what a splendid sight. You can see they've all got their number plates, and that's because they are still fully road legal. They can, if they choose, drive away from this race weekend, just cover your numbers up and off you go onto the road. They're all fully road legal cars, hence the Road Sport nomenclature. But you can see them all brightly coloured as well. Obviously all the wrap technologies we've got nowadays allow them to really express their personality, and the Road Sports really take that to heart.
Well, the marshal's about to call the cars up to the grid, and it is Irishman Brian Thornton. A few podiums for him in the Academy last season, who has set pole position in the first qualifying session of the year. Did a lap of 2 minutes 14.069 in qualifying, one of the longest laps in British motorsport, the Snetterton 300 circuit. And Scott Helm, who was a race winner in Academy last season, starts alongside him in car number 42. Second row, number 12, Alistair Morton, and 86, Craig Evans, not to be confused with the former truck racer of the same name. 14, Will Harris, and number 10, Aaron Oliver, make up row 3. Then Jimmy White in number 38 and 24, Oliver White. Completing the top 10, Charles Harris in number 96 and number 17, Daniel Crawley. On row 6, we have the Rothmans lookalike car of 88, Luciano Caruso, alongside 99, Ben Snape. Row 7 is our very own Sam Parker in her newly liveried number 7 car alongside Richard Haig, number 71. Eduardo Pontes in number 6 on row 8 alongside 32 Ivan Searle. Row 9, the number 13 of Liam Baslington and 20 Steve Loriman. 10th row, 44 Andrew Davison and Frenchman Benoit Carnet in car number 16, completing the top 20. On row 11, 74 Charles Chapman and 36 Chris Buck. The 12th row, 19 of Chris Morling and number 60 Mark Stancer. Stephen Harris on row 13 in the number 5 alongside 58 James Platt. On row 14 is Zina Al-Jalili in number 26 alongside number 4 Alistair Kinnear. And on the final row, 29 Scott Darling and number 22 William Coop, who had his practice times disallowed for a tyre infringement. He used non-declared tyres in the qualifying session, therefore his times are disallowed, and he will start from the rear of the grid.
Yeah, we have a little bit of control on the tyres to make sure that people can't just keep throwing on new tyres whenever they like. Therefore, yeah, we have barcodes that need to be registered, and obviously he's fallen foul of that as we see this but a massive grid of Road Sport cars still stretching back, just getting positioned up. They'll go off onto their green flag lap, and then we'll have this season up and running. And as we can see some marshals there on our screen, I will just like to say for the first time of many this year, thank you ever so much to all of our marshals out there, allowing us to do what we love to do, and I know all the drivers like to pass on their thanks via me as well. But yeah, look at this blue skies, little wispy clouds out there. It's quite a strong gusty wind every now and again, which will affect these cars as they go down the straight. They've still got all their windscreens on, so they do get affected by that wind. You'll see the famous Caterham toe in full effect all throughout this weekend, and you're going to see that even coming out the last corner in second place does not necessarily mean you're out of the running. And again, depending on that wind direction, you could well be over the line first. It's going to be a game of chess on wheels, a high-speed game of chess as they head around. Every single race you're going to see here from the Caterhams is 20 minutes long this weekend, and just enough time to get into the racing, and then we'll be crowning our early points leaders of the championships.
So it's waiting for our marshals and other officials to get into position, and the green flag will wave to get the warming up lap underway here on the Senna Straight. Of course, it was here at Snetterton that the great Ayrton Senna scored one of his first wins in British motorsport in his Formula 4 days. Drivers weaving to warm up their Toyo R888R tyres. They head down towards Rich's Corner, named after one of the founders of the Snetterton circuit, the long right-hander. Get it wrong there and you could end up in the farmer's field next to the circuit.
We've seen it before many a times, haven't we? And there's plenty of opportunity for high-speed corners here at Snetterton. There's a good mix, actually, as a track in general for Caterham's. It's not super wide like some of the other tracks that we go to, although this hairpin, you can see how much width there is as a runoff area there. But we go down to sort of 40, 30 miles an hour around some of these hairpins, and right up to the top end of all of them as they go down the back end, the Bentley Straight. And we're going to see plenty of action as we head into these tight hairpins. You really do have to haul on the anchors, and all these drivers will be getting used to the new braking points on these new tyres, the Toyos, as you've just mentioned. They will have to work it out and figure it out. And Agostini and they're coming down to now is also another popular overtaking. You'll see them fanning out as they head into there. You can see how narrow a Caterham car is compared to a race circuit nowadays. They can and do put it four wide. Are we going to see that in race one, or will they have sensible heads today?
Taking around the rest of the lap, it was the Wilson's hairpin we saw, the 180-degree right-hander. It was down to Palmer's, named after Dr. Jonathan Palmer, the boss of MSVR, who own and operate this circuit. Then up to Agostini, the long left-hander, the left flick of Hamilton's. No prizes for guessing who that was named after. Then the right-hander at Oggies, and up to Williams Corner, where we are now before we go into the long back straight, the Bentley Straight. Plenty of opportunities for slipstreaming. We'll see big snakes of cars down there.
Exactly the description. You'll see them weaving from side to side. Once a car is alongside, they must stop the weaving, but you can see looking under the bridge there, just out into the distance, sees the cars coming towards us into this Brundle-Nelson complex. Really hard. It's really fast on the way in through the left-hander, and you then have to work out how do you kill all the speed before you get to the tight right-hander that finishes this complex. It's a very complicated piece of tarmac for the drivers, and we're going to see some lock tyres for sure and action plenty as they come down towards us. And see just how many cars there are out here on the Roadsport grid. Well over 150 Caterhams with us this weekend, all here to get their seasons off to the up and running. As we said, the Academy aren't with us this weekend, but they've got their first circuit race next weekend at Brands Hatch. They've already done their sprint race. So, and I know that some of the Academy drivers are out on the Marshall banks today earning their 10 points that they can get for marshalling. So welcome as well to all those Academy drivers out there getting a bit of experience on the Marshalls. And that's something that Caterham do to make sure that drivers are aware of what the Marshalls get up to and how difficult their job is. And really it's quite a unique thing in British motorsport to have the drivers go out there and join it. But as they're just about to go around the end of Coram, so we saw them through Bomb Hole and then now around the long right-hander of Coram and then to the left here as they finish their lap. And this is where we're going to see all the action as the races come towards their conclusion.
So they come through the final corner at Murray's, named after the voice of motorsports, Murray Walker. We still miss you, Murray. And up towards the grid. This will be a 20-minute race to kick off the Bilstein Caterham Roadsport Championship for 2025. The class of 2024 having moved on up by and large to the other classes above them, most of them to the 270Rs, which we'll see out a little bit later on.
Keep an eye out for the lap record as well, 2:14.695. They were well under that in qualification. I expect that to go as we go through the course of this weekend. I think actually we're going to see most of the lap records broken. The speed yesterday in testing was very, very high, so let's see how they get on with that. 2:14.695, one to keep an eye out for.
The blue and orange car then of Brian Thornton from Westmeath in Ireland on pole position. Alongside him, Scott Helm in black and orange. Row 2, Alistair Morton, the grey car with the orange stripe and the paler orange cage, alongside the black and white machine of 86, Craig Evans. Completing the third row of the grid, number 14, William Harris, is in the bright green and black car. The number 10 alongside him in yellow is Aaron Oliver. So there you're leading names to watch then as they get ready for the charge down to Rich's corner for the first time. Marshall's just making sure everybody is into position at the back of the grid. Then a green flag will be waved at the back to say that all is clear. The red lights will come on, and when it goes out, we will be underway with the first of our 16 race programme across 2 days here at Snetterton on BARC TV. The revs beginning to rise from our Caterham Roadsports engines. Red light comes on. It's time to go racing here at the Snetterton 300 circuit. Away they go, and a great jump from the outside of the front row by Scott Helm in car number 42. He could well have the lead as they head up towards Rich's for the first time. He certainly has. Slotting into second is our pole sitter, Brian Thornton. Everybody else trying to be third as they charge through the first corner for the first time. It looks as though they've all just about made it round. What's going to happen into the Wilson's hairpin for the first time? The two leaders are side by side. It looks as though Scott Helm has just about held his lead, and a bit of bumping and boring further back.
Yeah, just a little bit of bumping in the middle pack there as they went in. It really is a complicated time for the drivers. They've all kind of sorted it out. There was one driver went out wide round Rich's that first time, but he did manage to get it all back under control and inside. Is that Sam in the green car? So new, the number 7 there, Sam Parker. She'll be on the presenting duties once she gets out of her car in a little bit. But as we come down, then it's got Helm leading Brian Thornton as they head then through Agostini the first time.
Side by side the fourth, Aaron Oliver having a go at Will Harris up the inside there, out of Agostini. A couple more cars on their tails through this deceptively tight left flick at Hamilton. Behind them, 86 of Craig Evans, the man from Milton Keynes, in the black and white car as they sort themselves out around this opening lap. Going for the inside there, that's the number 44 car, which is Andrew Davison. Now he started back on row 10, so he's risen through the order very rapidly indeed as the leaders head down the Bentley straight for the first time. And our pole sitter Brian Thornton getting ready to attack Scott Helm for the lead.
Certainly looks like that, doesn't it? He's tucked nicely into that slipstream. He'll be gaining that sort of 5 to 7 miles an hour extra by the time he gets down. In fact, I think he's done it before he even get into the corner. So he is. Brian Thornton now is ahead of Scott Helm. So it is as they were on the grid, and a little bit further back, everyone else feeding through. They're taking it nice and easy in this early part of the lap, and in fact the gaps are appearing already while there's a little bit of caution throughout the field, but that's understandable given this is their first race out this season. So the rest of them flowing through. There is Sam in that 7. That is the Caterham Drift Caterham colours for the experience days. Sam's one of our instructors in those drift days, and if you fancy having a go or in one of these Caterhams, that's a perfect way of getting out there as they head around Murray's then onto the start finish, start their third lap.
Yes, I was offered to go at drifting a Caterham at Donington last year, and a few hot laps with your good self, Chris. Sadly, I couldn't make it due to other work commitments in the end, sadly, but as they complete the opening lap of the day here at Snetterton, then it is Thornton who leads from Helm, 2:21.682, but we haven't got the full flying laps in yet. There's a challenge being made there towards Wilson's hairpin. The green car's Will Harris going through. I think Aaron Oliver's up there on the outside. It's the battle for third position. Scott Helm and it was Alistair Morton getting shuffled back there, the grey car with the orange stripe down the centre. So the battle starting to be joined for third place now. Will Harris, number 14, has come through into P3, but Thornton and Helm starting to escape very slightly at the front of the field. The big winners on that first lap including Davison, who gained 6 places, and 36 of Chris Buck, who gained 10.
Yeah, there's some, like I say, big winners early on. There's tight into Agostini that time as the number 12 there of Morton just chopping across Aaron Oliver's number 10 car. They're still fighting it out as they go into Hamilton's. You don't generally fight in there, whilst you said last time it's a surprisingly tight corner, but they go round it at something like 70 miles an hour, so it's not a slow corner by any means. And we got another dive down the inside then of the 96 car, looking to see whether he can make an opportunity. Sorry, 86 hours. It's Harris going up into the middle, but it's an opportunistic move into Og. He doesn't really always come off, but he has made that place up this time.
So great close racing for the minor placings here. The first two able to pull away slightly as a result, and now here we go. The snake starts to form up. They try to weave around to try and break the toe. Going to the outside here is Scott Helm. Can he get round the outside? I don't think he will of Brian Thornton. He was lining him up for the inside run through Nelson, though. He could get the move done here on the entry to this fairly tight right-hander, but he's outbraked himself slightly, clips the curb, side by side for the lead, and William Harris says, I'll have some of this as well. Into the bomb hole. You can see how the circuit drops down slightly there, hence its name. No bombs fell on Snetterton during the Second World War in its days as an airfield, named after in honour of the bombers that flew from here, if memory serves me correctly. Here come your leaders. Brian Thornton from William Harris now up into second position. This opening race of the season for the Bilstein Caterham Roadsport Championship. They charge their way up the centre straight. What's the order going to be as they reach the start-finish line? So stripe, it is still Harris in second place, 2:16s. They're lapping in at the moment as up the inside. Thornton just about defending his lead there. Will Harris had a good look there, and he's going for the inside on the run into Wilson's hairpin. Could we see the second row starter challenge for the lead? Who's this charging down the outside? That's Alistair Morton. They're all over each other into Wilson's hairpin, and Harris just about gets the car turned in. He turned on a sixpence there, and he's taken the lead.
Broke exactly the right speed as he went round that corner, did he? The perfect apex and got fired out the other side. So Harris takes 2 places in a relatively, it was about half a lap, wasn't it? And he's now in the lead of this race. So where we thought that Thornton and Helm might have been breaking away, it's all come back together, and Harris is very much involved, but a little bit further back as well. That's William Harris moving forward. But as taking the lead then, and going down to Agostini, but Thornton is still fighting, and that's the number 10 for Aaron Oliver. He's been, in fact, he's very slow at the inside there as he lost all his momentum. I don't know whether he's got a problem with his car.
He got squeezed towards the grass there. He had to go up onto the grass on the inside of Agostini. That's what lost him the momentum. So he will drop a couple of places as a result of that. He's behind the number 17 car of Dan Crawley in there now, so down to about 8th or 9th position, I think, as a result of that. It's only a slight loss of momentum, but it's enough to drop you down the order, and you have to start all over again from where you were.
I wonder whether he missed a gear or something as he was trying to recover, or couldn't find the right gear, because it took him a long time to get back up to speed, and he is now going to have to fight his way through this angry pack as they come down towards us then, with Harris in front. In fact, he's just had that taken away by Thornton once more as they head through that complex.
Plenty more battling. We can see Sam Parker in there, the lime green car with the pink number plates. This is the number 36, that's Chris Buck, who gained 10 places on the opening lap. He's now in P12, and who's that he's got behind him? 38 of Jimmy Y, the man from Swindon, chasing him.
Important to get a good lap in qualification to make it, and some of these drivers clearly missed out, but they're making up for that early on in this race. We watch then Thornton ahead of Harris as they go up to complete this next lap, and everything is starting to come back together again then, so see whether this chasing pack can also close in, and we can by the end of this race maybe have everyone back together again.
Across the stripe they go to complete lap number 3, less than a tenth of a second in it for the lead, and Brian Thornton back towards the inside into Rich's corner. Can he take the lead back in? Can he make it stick into the hairpin? I think he's just about got it down the inside, but who's this coming up behind them? It is Scott Helm in the number 42, the only driver in this race to have previously won a Caterham race in the Academy last season. Morton side by side with the 86 of Craig Evans for P4, but yes, Brian Thornton made it stick into the hairpin, and he's got the lead back again.
I think he comes into this season as one of the favourites as well, Thornton out front. He put it on pole position, didn't he? And he's now showing that he's got some of those racing chops as well, as he's still side by side with Harris, as Helm's looking to see whether he can get involved in that. As the rest of them all come down here, what a fast sight they are into Agostini, really squeezing there. The number 12 car was actually pushing a little bit hard, with Harris again following up a little bit behind.
This is bringing Charles Harris into the equation as well. Not sure what relation the two Harrises are. I believe they're from the same family, as the leader kicks up a little bit of dust there. Charles Harris in the Team Lotus lookalike, the number 96, the British Racing green and yellow liveried car.
It's actually Charles and Stephen who are the relations there. I don't think there's any relation between William at the front there.
No, got 3 Harrises in this race, of course. Steve a bit further back in the order, the number 5 car, as the rattlesnake shake starts up again. That's what we were calling it last season. I've remembered now, down the Bentley Straight. Who's going to emerge with the lead this time? There goes William Harris right across from one side of the circuit to the other. Thornton's still got the lead, and who's come through in second place? It's Scott Helm up there in second. Where did the 86 of Craig Evans come from there? He's side by side with Will Harris for third position. Aaron Oliver's back into this now as well, having a go at the 96 of Charles Harris after his loss of momentum earlier on, and it is getting typically Caterham frantic out in front.
It certainly is, yeah, they're going left and right. Anywhere you can put a car, they are putting it, but it is Thornton back in front with Helm following along. Harris now back in that third place, so he's had some ventures early on, doesn't he? He's pretty much been in every position at the front 6 cars there so far, but Thornton's going to take us across the line in the lead this time, followed by Harris, then it's going to, followed by Helm, then Harris. Evans comes across in 4th, up 1 place that lap, Morton, and then it's Charles Harris, it's Aaron Oliver.
A measure of how closely matched these cars are. His fastest lap has just been recorded by Ben Snape, number 99, who's in P11, 2:15.41. As running wide there, Brian Thornton put a wheel onto the grass coming out of Rich's there, and he's lost out to Scott Helm, who has now got the lead. Charles Harris just ahead of Aaron Oliver. There's the battle for P6 as the front 5 possibly starting to break away slightly. So Helm leads, Thornton second, Will Harris third, then it's Craig Evans in 4th. The number 12 of Alistair Morton from just outside London is in 5th position. Evans positions himself to the inside as they come down into Agostini in the Blood Records sponsored number 86 car. Morton giving chase.
Bit ominous with a number plate of blood, isn't it?
Yeah, we were saying in the build up to this race with Ian in the assembly area. Surely the car should be red if it's got blood written on it.
There is Helm then leading over the top of Thornton and Harris. These trio have sort of been majority of time in those front three spaces, and you've got to keep sort of eye on those average positions, because that's what's going to count in a Caterham. You will find other cars come and go as the time goes on, but there's the other Harris chasing down, and with Evans just in front, they've got a little bit of a comfort gap then back to Aaron Oliver at the moment.
Through the heat haze they come then down the Bentley straight. Here comes Will Harris. He's going to have a look to the inside. No, you're not, says Brian Thornton. Moves across to block any attacks. Scott Helm still at the helm of this race, though. Holds the lead ahead of Thornton. He took the lead coming out of the first corner at Riches. Out of Nelson corner. Train of cars behind them. Aaron Oliver heading this group. He's got the 17 car of Daniel Crawley in behind him there. So this is the train for 7th position. Luciano Caruso is in there somewhere as well. That's the Rothmans Williams look-alike car. I do love the throwback liveries in some of our Caterhams.
Yeah, they've got quite a nice gap then back to the chase group. So there's this comfort gap just ahead of Aaron Oliver, who dropped a wheel onto the gravel. There is a sensor down there, so he might have triggered that. Remember, track limits are enforced as we're going too wide over the line this time. It's time to start thinking about who's coming across the line first. Are they able to overtake the car in front of them as they exit that final corner? But it is Helm over Thornton over Harris, then it's Evans in Morton, then it's the other Harris with Aaron Oliver just a little bit further back, but fighting to get back across that gap, and then we've got Crawley just behind them.
We go 2 by 2 behind our race leader with Brian Thornton now back in the lead. William Harris big move wide there by Craig Evans. Then Charles Harris has got ahead of Morton up into P5 as well as they come through the left-hander at Palmer's. Aaron Oliver heads the second group. Caruso in behind him. Then it's side by side. The 99 of Ben Snape, who still has the fastest lap of the race, is in there as well. William Harris moving to the inside, side by side for third as they're going to Agostini, named after multiple world motorcycle champion Giacomo Agostini, of course. Still side by side for P3 as the leaders come towards Hamilton. Still Helm and Thornton. Nothing between the two of them at the front, and nothing between these two. Well, 2-3 for third.
Side by side through Hamilton is not a sensible position if you want to go fast. And you can see the other two drivers behind the other Harris. Now it's 2 Harrises in a row, and Oggies is looking like they're trying to make an opportunity, but there really isn't anywhere to go until you get to this Bentley straight, when all the overtaking really gets reversed anyway, as they go side by side then through the Williams and then onto this long back straight. You really do have a chance to sort of settle in, see what's what, look at all your gauges and see what drivers are around you. There's the number 74 there a little bit further. That's Chapman having his battles towards the back end of the field.
Yes, Chapman battling with the 71 of Richard Haig there, as still Harris and Evans, William Harris and Craig Evans absolutely side by side. The leaders are side by side as well, coming out of Nelson towards the bomb hole.
You can't do that.
They didn't. Alistair Morton thought better of it there, I think, as they charged their way down towards the dip at bomb hole. Then the long right-hander at Coram, like Riches, named after one of the original landowners who founded the Snetterton circuit back in the late 40s, early 50s. William Harris runs wide onto the grass there, coming out of Murray's corner. That'll drop him back just a little bit from our leading pair, and somebody's had a bit of a problem there. The number 44 has had an off, I think. That's Andrew Davison. It's a shame after his good start.
Yeah, it is, because like you said, he made up some really good time early on. Here's Harris now going head-to-head with Evans. Evans dropping just a little bit further back. He's going to be keen to get his nose back up front. He was looking like he was threatening for that lead at one point, and now he's found himself pushed back, and these two leaders, Thornton and Helm, have now got that little comfort gap just ahead of Harris. There he goes. Evans does go down the inside, takes that position back, and maybe we'll feel a little bit more comfortable trying to drag them, although Harris is going to try and deny him around the outside of Palmer's. Again, not really a move that works that many times. He's on the slightly dirtier, wider line, but he does make it stick. A great move round the outside there as it went around Palmer's.
Yes, Charles Harris, the outside of Palmer's. I don't think I've ever seen an overtake there before. That's a very unusual move. Back up the inside comes Craig Evans on the brakes into Agostini. Retakes the place once again. Alistair Morton getting involved as well. But all this battling's allowing the front three to escape very slightly as the next group lose time to each other. Here comes Charles Harris, the Team Lotus lookalike green and yellow car. The 86 of Craig Evans, the white car alongside him. Then Morton, and he's being reeled in now by the 99 of Snape, the 88 of Caruso, the blue and white car on the inside. Yeah, the whole of the midfield is starting to tow up onto the back of our second group at the front now. It's a bit like a cycle race, the stage of the Tour de France, isn't it? You've had the breakaway, but now the peloton are catching up.
That's exactly it, and you've just got to make sure you're in the right pack at the right time. Remember, we've got this is a 20-minute race, but we're down to the last 4 3/4 minutes. So it really is action stations, especially given how long this Snetterton 300 circuit is. And this central pack is actually having a ding-dong battle as they head down through Brundle and Senna. So it is Evans, though, that is leading. Harris has lost out a little bit more there, but everyone else coming back together, including Dan Crawley. So that gap that was back to that middle pack has closed up, but the two out front have actually got away a little bit.
Luciano Caruso there, the 88. His team listed as Dented Panel Racing, but the car looking good so far. He's ahead of Aaron Oliver. I've put the curse of the commentator on him by saying that as the leader. A little bit sideways there, coming out of Murray's corner. It's over 4 minutes to go now, so a couple more laps, I think, for the number 33, Brian Thornton, looking for his first Caterham victory.
I think it was Morton there that was fully onto the grass as they went out through Murray's that time, but managed to get it back onto the circuit. Maybe lost out a bit of speed and momentum. There's going to be Helm taking back to the inside of Riches, and Thornton's going to have to drop back to second and maybe trying to not to lose the place to Harris, but Harris has got its nose down the inside, and then as they come down to the hairpin here at Wilson, but he hasn't made that stick that time. He's probably also thinking about the strategy here. Does he want to make a move now which might cost him? He's in this comfortable first, second or third position at the moment, but by battling they're going to let the chasing car of Evans catch up. You can see Evans is coming across that gap pretty quickly.
William Harris is just on the fastest lap of the race, 2:14.818, so he's turned up the wick. He's onto the tail of our two pace setters here, average speed of almost 80 miles an hour as Thornton round the outside into Agostini. That's never going to work, surely, and it hasn't worked. Almost did, but the 42 of Scott Helm, man from Clitheroe in Lancashire, able to pull away as a result of that. So I think Thornton's a little bit over-enthusiastic there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, and he's drifted wide there at Hamilton as well, and he's going to lose a little bit of momentum in Oggies, but Harris didn't have anything to do. Evans looking around the outside of him then really is all starting to come back together. It might have even been a little bit of contact between our leaders. There was a lot of squeezing going on into Agostini that time, but with 2.5 minutes-ish to go, they're going to get this lap, and the next one I think will be their final. So we're into our penultimate race, lap.
And still any one of about 5 or 6 cars could win it as we watch one of the midfield battles a little further back, headed up by the number 58 car there, the orange car. That's James Platt. Here come the leaders down into Rundle and Nelson. William Harris swoops around the outside. Excellent move, and Evans up to third as well. It's all change. You can't take your eyes off this lead battle for a second. William Harris goes to the front then. Thornton trying to go round the outside at the bomb hole, but just gets blocked out there by Bomber Harris at the front of the field.
They've all been trying to defend that inside, but it makes that left-hander just way too tight. So you really do need to move yourself to the right-hand side to give yourself a little bit of a swoop around the outside. That's going to be interesting to what's going to happen through that corner next time through. They've just got a taste of moving up through the field, but this whole front pack is now nose to tail then as they head onto their final lap. It is going to be Harris then that leads them onto that lap, but that's not necessarily the place you want to be. Thornton's in second, so Helm's in third, then we've got the other Harris in fourth.
Yes, Charles Harris has come through nicely past Craig Evans, who was briefly third on that previous lap. Into our final lap now with Harris. Will Harris still holding the fastest lap, and who's that losing? That's Thornton, I think.
Thornton. It might have been Thornton, yeah, he was certainly sideways. And is he at the front? No, he's not, it's Harris. So Thornton just losing a lot of momentum. He's drifted to about 8th place now.
Yes, a good save there by Brian Thornton. He's run wide there a couple of times coming out of Riches, and just got sideways there, but he managed to gather it up rallycross style. He's got to race his way back through now. So it's Will Harris who leads, Helm in second place, Charles Harris third, then Evans, and I think Thornton possibly, no, that's Alistair Morton, sorry, there in 5th position. So he's towards the back of this group now, Brian Thornton, as they go line astern through Agostini. Alistair Morton looking to make his way around the outside. I don't think that'll work. Can Will Harris hang on? This is going to be very interesting into Brundle.
I wouldn't be putting money on him being able to hold on. He's got an angry pack of cars behind him. All the cars like to slide a little bit, so they're pushing a little bit more, but the tyres might also be a little bit hot as they come towards the end of this race. Just 30 seconds on the clock, so this will be their final lap, and it is Charles Harris then into that 3rd place. Can William Harris hang on? Are we going to have a double Harris podium? And Evans was looking dangerous, and he made up a lot of spaces at the end of this straight, so watch out for that Evans car as well.
Here they come then, the rattlesnake shake starts again as we go down the Bentley Straight. They are all over each other. They could be 5 wide into Brundle here as they come under the bridge. Evans goes to the outside. It's Helm that's got the inside. Helm's got the advantage. Charles Harris through the middle. He goes up into P2, into the right-hander at Nelson. It's going to be William Harris forced wide by Craig Evans. He keeps his foot in and keeps P3. Alistair Morton trying to come through at the bomb hole on the inside past Craig Evans. They're side by side. The 3 leaders have escaped very slightly. Any one of about 4 or 5 cars could still win this. They're in decorum for the final time in this Bilstein Caterham Roadsport Championship season opener. Towards Murray's then, and up towards the line. It's Scott Helm who leads it. Charles Harris in second. Helm sideways. He's lost momentum. This could lose him the race win. They come up towards the checkered flag. Who's it going to be?
Three wide.
It's like the finish of the Grand National. They are going to finish 3 wide. I can't call it. We're going to have to go to the timing screen. And it's Charles Harris. Charles Harris, who led only a couple of feet of that race, or a couple of metres if you're talking metric. 31 thousandths of a second. Charles and William Harris take the 1-2. Scott Helm in third. Then Evans, Morton, Oliver, Caruso, Thornton, Snape and Crawley in top 10.
Excellent
start. And that's just the first race.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic finish there. And like you say, Charles only sort of led one little bit of that race, but it was exactly the right bit. He managed his way through, and that second penultimate through the Nelson and Brundle was what really got him into exactly the key position. And with Helm losing the rear of his car as he exited the final corner, he was a sitting duck to the others as they went up the hill.
I don't know about you, Chris, but I'm exhausted already. We've only had one race.
It's excellent stuff, and it's going to continue as the rest of this huge field all still making their way through and crossing the line. But yeah, Harris squared at the top, the first and second on the podium. Scott Helm's going to be a bit gutted that he missed out, and only by 63 thousandths of a second off the win. And Evans, a well-managed race, one to keep an eye out for in race 2 for sure. Aaron Oliver made his way all the way back up. Morton was always there or thereabouts, and yeah, great stuff. There is the key moment there. Thornton just went off onto the exit and just lost the rear of his car.
You mentioned Caterham drifting. Well, that's exactly what we saw there from Brian Thornton, the save of the season so far on BARC TV. And that was perhaps the decisive move there by Charles Harris through the middle as they came into Brundle there to position himself behind Scott Helm, and then up towards the line. They were 3 wide over the line. The top 3 covered by 0.06 of a second, with Charles Harris ahead of William Harris and Scott Helm, with Craig Evans in 4th and Alistair Morton rounding up the top 5. Aaron Oliver, after an incident early on at Agostini, racing back to 6th. Luciano Caruso 7th, the unlucky Brian Thornton 8th, then Ben Snape and Dan Crawley rounding out the top 10 ahead of Jimmy White, Chris Buck, Ivan Searle and Oliver White. I'm pleased to say all 30 starters went the distance in that one as well, with very little incidents in our season opener for the Bilstein Caterham Roadsport Championship.
Yeah, excellent stuff, and I can see them all heading into the Parc Ferme area there, so hopefully we'll be able to pick up and have some interviews.
Yeah, let's head down to Ian Waterhouse in Parc Ferme.
Wow, oh my word. Right, 0.063, come over here. 0.063 between the 3 of you. That was unbelievable, wasn't it?
That was crazy. I didn't even see you the whole race, and the last lap he just glides past me and takes the win.
It's a family affair, isn't it? Remarkable.
I beat him to the first win as well, so that's why he's not happy right now.
It's going to be beefy tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue this rivalry all season.
Oh yeah, just to start. So, but yeah, what a way to start the season, eh?
And Scott, I mean, we're talking nothing, but unfortunately that's the gap between first and third, isn't it?
It is, especially with a drag across the line like that. I fluffed the last corner, and then these 2 boys, one on either side of me.
Look at what it means.
No chance, but well done to them.
Is there a better way, a better way to start the season?
No, that's a pretty good start, to be fair. So it sets the grid for tomorrow. I'm a bit worried now, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, boys, well done. Enjoy this one, won't you? There's definitely going to be a party at the Harris house later. Look at what it means. Let's just pop the camera around here. Look, we've got the flags going as well. Yeah, remarkable. 0.063 separates the top 3. The gap between first and second, 0.031. Unbelievable. Congratulations. It was Charles Harris in first place, his brother William Harris in second, and Scott Helm coming home in third. There was barely anything on it at all, wasn't there? Look, let's just put the microphone in and have a look. I think we've got a little bit of time. Minis, of course, are out next. But what does it say? Oh, listen, can we put this to the camera? Look at that. Will Harris, Charlie Harris, Will Harris 14, Charlie Harris 96. Very proud family. Who have we got here, guys? Who have we got here?
We've got Mum, Dad, mechanic.
Where's Mum?
Coach's
Where's
girlfriend.
Mum?
Where's Mum?
Mum, come here. You must be one proud mum.
I am very, very, very proud. I can't feel the berries in.
Were you a little bit nervous on that last lap?
Well, yeah, because you never know what's going to happen right to that last second. You have no idea. No, so, yeah.
What does it mean to see the boys 1-2?
What can I say? They love it. All three of them love it. And to see them both on the podium together is amazing.
A little bit emotional.
I am.
Right, we're going to their tent later for a drink, I'm telling you. Great stuff indeed. Wow, could we have asked for a better start to the road sports season? I don't think we possibly could have. Look at him there. Let's just get the camera off me, just put it on a drive. No one wants to see me, but remarkable stuff indeed. Brothers Charles and William Harris 1-2. Congratulations, Scott Helm, coming home in third. That is the difference, 0.063. That is what motorsport means. I'm delighted to say we've still got another 4 races coming up. Up next, out on track, it's the start of the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy season, and that promises to be a close race as well. I'm going to hand over to your commentator, Dave Goddard. Enjoy.
Yes, thanks very much indeed, Ian, and well done to our Caterham racers. We're going to move away to saloon car racing action, as we say. It is the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy season opener. Identical BMW Mini Coopers out on track, and a big field of some 23 of them here this weekend. These are the touring car stars of the future. We caught up with some of the drivers in the paddock a little earlier on.
Right, everybody, almost time to get going for the Mini Challenge Trophy. In fact, the season is about to begin. Now, because of that, I've decided to catch up probably the youngest driver on the grid, James Sherrington, just 16 years old. How are you feeling ahead of this race and this season?
I'm feeling excited, to be honest. I mean, with my age and stuff, I know it'll be a challenge, but I think with the team behind us and the pace we have in the car, we should have some strong results.
What have you done before, James?
I did 1.5 years in the Junior Saloon Car Championship, where we had a fair few podiums and a win. So we're no strangers to car racing, but this is definitely a step up.
So a bit of pedigree, and you are just inside the top 10, I believe, for this one.
Yeah, starting 10th for race 1. I mean, with the pace we have, I think we can move forward from this and try and capitalise on the reverse grid. But it's all just, obviously, debut race, get it off the line, bring it home.
Top man. James, why did you decide to come racing in the Mini Challenge?
I saw last year on the British Touring Car package at a few rounds, and I thought that it'd be a good way to try and climb up the ladder. And it's got high pedigree driver and some great coverage for it.
There is. In fact, I think there's 3 rounds this year again, isn't there, in a Tucker package? What does that mean for a 16-year-old like yourself to be going and sharing a paddock with the touring car boys?
I mean, it's hard to put into words, for us. It's very exciting. I can get my name out there, obviously, if I do well. I need to get myself towards the sharper end of the field by then. But it's a good opportunity for my sponsors as well, Romac Logistics and Holman, to get themselves some brand exposure. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
There you go, James Sherrington, outrageously quick driver, but can't drive himself home yet because he's got no driver licence. James, best of luck out there, mate. We will be watching. Top man, here we go. Dave, over to you.
Thanks so much, Ian. Good to hear from young James Sherrington, who lines up 10th on this grid of identical 130 brake horsepower, 1.6 litre BMW Mini Coopers. It's Dave Fairbrother for Accelerate Motorsport, who was 4th in the championship last season and starts as one of the favourites this year, who has taken pole position alongside number 95 Josh Wilby. Ashley Gregory, great qualifying for her up there on the second row alongside number 88 Alfie Garford. Row 3, 59 Reese Hurd, and 185 in the Wera Race Academy car, Jensen Mason. Row 4, 171 Leo Purchase and 62 Alex Keynes. Completing the top 10, 38 Olivier Algieri from North Wales, and number 40 we just heard from him, James Sherrington. The 6th row, 610, which is Louis Fleet alongside 138 Henry Foots. On row 7, last year's Rookie Cup winner, 96 Ronnie Smith alongside 51 Craig Morgan. Row 8, number 10 Harry Smith, the reigning Junior Saloon Car champion, starts alongside 69 Monroe Renard. Row 9, 43 Cameron Wood, and 46, the oldest man in the series, Paul Manning. We're completing the top 20. 33 Jamie Keats, who got a two-place grid penalty for infringement in qualifying, and Luca Marinoni Osborne, who was hoping to be further forward on this grid. The 11th row we have number 4 Simon Sweetland and 37 Charlie Barr, and 36 Mackenzie Taylor in the Accelerate Motorsport car starts at the back. Now this grid set by the second fastest time in qualifying, because the fastest time sets the grid for race 3 taking place tomorrow. The Minis do it a bit differently. And then the second race on the programme is the partially reverse grid race. So they do it similar to touring cars, but in a slightly different order. 2024, it was young Harry Hickton for Westbourne Motorsport who took the championship by just 2 points on the final day of the season from his teammate Sam Gornall. Harry Hickton moving up into the JCW class of the Mini Challenge this year, supporting the British Touring Car Championship. That is his ambition, to race in touring cars. He's done some classic touring cars in his father's Opel Kadett as well. We saw him at Donington earlier this year. So Harry Hickton, Sam Gornall and James Black were last year's top 3 in the championship. They've moved on to pastures new. Gabe Fairbrother was 4th in the championship for Accelerate Motorsport, and he starts as the favourite this year from pole position. Gabe comes from Chester, works as an engineer. He's had a couple of wins last season. 4th in the championship, as we say, multiple karting champion as well. Many of these drivers making the move up from karts, from the Junior Saloon Car Championship, from the Fiesta Junior Championship as well. See the Rookie Cup taking place as well. No Directors' Cup for the senior drivers this year, as we saw in the last couple of years. The fastest rookie in qualifying, Alfie Garford, number 88, 4th on the grid. He's in one of the Wera Alliance Academy racing cars, Alfie Garford, making the move up from Fiesta Juniors, and his ambition to score his first podium today. Josh Wilby starts on the front row in the number 95 car. That's the Team Avago car. 12th in the championship last year. Took some Rookie Cup wins last season. He's in the white car with the red bumpers and wheel arches. Gabe Fairbrother in turquoise and white, and Ashley Gregory, her best ever qualifying position, that's the blue and pink car. Ashley started her career slightly differently. She raced mini stocks on the short oval at Wharton Stock Car Club in Lancashire. Alfie Garford alongside her, then Reese Hurd and Jensen Mason, another Fiesta Junior graduate, on row 3. Make their way up to the grid. This will be a 15-minute race for the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy. These are very much, as we say, the touring car stars of the future. The elder statesman of the grid is Paul Manning, number 46, 18th on the grid here. It's him in the white and blue car there. It's heading out of Murray's. Just ahead of number 33, Jamie Keats, on this grid. Very evenly matched cars indeed. Looking at the times for this one, just under 4 seconds separated the entire grid in qualifying for this race. Gabe Fairbrother a 2:19.433, putting him on the pole in the all-round security sponsored car. Ashley Gregory in the blue and pink car, Alfie Garford in the black and turquoise livery of Wera Tools. Wait the all clear from the back of the grid, then the red light will come on. You'll be able to see it above the marshal's post on the left of the screen, just below the Snetterton sign. Red light is on, revs are up, and away they go. The Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy season gets underway. The charge down towards Rich's corner for the first time. Who's going to get the whole shot? It is Gabe Fairbrother who leads. Josh Wilby in second place, side by side between Ashley Gregory and looks like Alfie Garford up there for third position. I think they're all going to make their way through all okay for the first time. Josh Wilby has a look on the outside, but he won't get round Gabe Fairbrother on the hairpin. Looks like it is Alfie Garford up into third position. They all make their way around. A couple of cars just running a bit wide, kicking up a Little bit of dust, but no major contact in the first couple of corners. Decent start by Reese Hurd. It could be him up in third place, actually. The blue number 59 car, the Westbourne Motorsport car, last year's champion team. More dust being kicked up as Wilby has a look for the lead. It is Reese Hurd up into third position. Ashley Gregory fourth, and Alfie Garford is in P5. Alex Keynes there in number 62, experienced mini racer. It's line astern as they head towards Hamilton for the first time. Gabe Fairbrother leads from Josh Wilby in second. Hurd from the third row of the grid up into third place. Fine sight they make as they string their way around Oggies, the right-hander. Going to make a move there. The inside, I think it was Jamie Keats in the chrome blue car. Yes, there he is. Similar to the livery that Andrew Jordan used to use in British touring cars. Getting past the number 43, that's Cameron Wood. Here come your leaders, side by side. Gabe Fairbrother and Josh Wilby. Reese Hurd, a bit late on the brakes there, was right on the back of Gabe Fairbrother. Didn't manage to make the move stick, though. And the leaders run wide, coming out of Nelson. Bit of rally crossing there for Gabe Fairbrother, but he gathers it back up as they head into the bomb hole and keeps his lead. This dancing snake of minis. Very evenly matched indeed. Normally aspirated 1.6 litre Mini Coopers out of Coram. Up towards Maurice for the first time. Josh Wilby, late on the brakes there, diving down the inside of Maurice, and he's taken the lead. Great move by Josh Wilby in the 95 car. That was an excellent bit of driving to take the lead at the conclusion of the first lap. Across the stripe they go for the first time. It is Wilby who will lead the way at the line. Fairbrother down to second, Hurd is third, then Gregory, Garford, Leo Purchase is in sixth position. They're all over Gabe Fairbrother here. It looks like he hasn't got the straight line speed of his rivals. They were slightly bottled up behind him. This is allowing Josh Wilby to escape. You can see now at the front of the field. Ashley Gregory on the attack for second place as Fairbrother lifts a wheel. Reese Hurd's caught on the outside there. He's coming under fire from Alfie Garford in the 88. Leo Purchase, number 171. In behind them, the blue and orange car. That's a Graves Motorsport entry. He's side by side now with Alfie Garford and James Sherrington in behind them, the 16-year-old in car number 40. He's going for the inside on Leo Purchase. He could make up 2 places here with a bit. Look at this from James Sherrington, and he's done it. Oh, superb. The youngest man on the grid. Former junior saloon car man, comes from a family specialising in sports racing cars in the past with MCR and the like. I remember Patrick Sherrington racing very successfully in one of their cars as Ashley Gregory makes the move on Gabe Fairbrother at Hamilton Corner and takes second place. Ashley Gregory has had a lot of bad luck over the last couple of years. You can see Gabe Fairbrother's car seems to be a bit down on straight line speed. Being forced wide there, a bit of rubbing. The 51 car goes rally crossing. That is Craig Morgan from Sussex. Gathers it back up again. Somebody else went off there, didn't see who it was, but Josh Wilby's been able to escape at the front of the field as a result of the battling behind him. Gregory is now up into second place, and everybody else trying to be third. There's Craig Morgan, who survived that grassy moment coming out of Williams' corner. Here comes line astern out of the right-hander at Nelson. Weaving about there is Harry Smith, the number 10, the winner of the Junior Saloon Car Championship. Now, close battle with Jonathan Moore all the way through last season in the Saxos. Jonathan Moore moving to race Porsches this season in the Porsche Sprint Challenge. Jonathan Moore going on all the way down the order in this season opener for the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy. Across the stripe they come for the second time. This is just the second lap of the season. Ryan Wilby over the line, 2:20.285, his quickest lap so far. He leads Ashley Gregory by nearly 1.6 seconds, so he's already eked out a gap. This is great stuff. 23 cars covered by just over 13 seconds. Leo Purchase up on the back of James Sherrington after that brilliant move at Agostini a lap ago. Alex Keynes, number 62, the green and yellow car, gets forced a little bit wide. I think that's Alfie Garford in there. He's lost a couple of places, lost 3 places on that last lap, and he's about to lose another. Just in behind them, that's the 38 of Olivier Algieri, the Welshman. He's come through quite nicely so far as well into the top 10 now. Side by side with Garford, who's dropping back a little in behind them, is the number 96 car. That's Ronnie Smith, the Race Car Consultants Limited car, last year's Rookie Cup winner. And what's happened there? Goodness me, I think the front suspension broke on the 38 car of Olivier Algieri. I don't know if there had been some contact just before that, but he went spinning out. Looked like the left front suspension collapsed, and round he went. Now that might be a safety car, given how close that car is to the edge of the track. It's on the exit of Hamilton. Race continues for now. That's the 69 car of Monroe Renard, giving chase to one of the Wera Academy cars. Down towards Brundle. Leo Purchase has got the headlights on to try and intimidate his rivals. 33 up the inside. Jamie Keats passes 6'10 of Louis Fleet in the Team Avago car. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly anyway, apologies if not. 51 up the inside, and yes, the 6'10 car losing a bit of momentum there. Craig Morgan goes through. Another car getting through there as well. Still your leader is Josh Wilby, number 95. Going through to completes lap number 3. See what his lead is this time over Ashley Gregory. Gabe Fairbrother still there in 3rd place ahead of Reese Hurd. Sherrington's up to 5th now, ahead of Purchase. Then Keens, Garford, Ronnie Smith and Keats rounding out the top 10. New fastest lap for Gabe Fairbrother, 2:19.562. So he's started to get the straight line speed back again. Into Wilson Hairpin they go, and the red flag is coming out. The red flag is coming out. The race is being stopped, presumably because of the number 38 car of Olivier Algieri, to allow it to be recovered. That's over at Hamilton's. So the race being brought to a halt. There were just under 7.5 minutes on the clock, so we were just over halfway through this first race of the season for the Virtue Mini Challenge. There is the 38 car, and look at the left front wheel underneath the car there. It's turned sideways, so that is a suspension failure, I think, for the 38. I don't know if there'd been any contact just before then that caused the suspension to break. I didn't see any. But Olivier Algieri, on his Mini Challenge debut, is very much out of the race. Had some guest outings in the championship last year. We'll see it again here. Oh, he clipped the tyre stack on the inside at Hamilton. That's what happened. I couldn't quite see it that first time. It happened a little too quickly, but he hit the tyre stack. He cut the corner too finely, and that's what broke the suspension. So the race brought to a halt. We'll see the cars brought up towards the start line, minus the man from Llandudno in North Wales, Olivier Algieri, 19 years of age, works as a driver coach. His ambition is to win the title and to race in the British Touring Car Championship, but his first race of the season is sadly over. Races for Westbourne Motorsport, teammate to Jamie Keats, Reese Hurd and Luca Marinoni Osborne. So the cars making their way round towards the start line then. Josh Wilby is your race leader, the man from Doncaster in Yorkshire. I haven't had a chance to read out many of your messages yet on the stream. There's a few of you lamenting something that has disappeared from Snetterton in recent years, the infamous scary tree up at Wilson's Hairpin. That's sadly disappeared a few years ago. It sadly went rotten. Looked like it was cheering the cars on at times, didn't it? Must also say a very happy birthday to Joy Goddard, who's celebrating her birthday up in the Midlands today. Many happy returns, Joy, from all of your family and friends. There's the damaged car. You can see the wheel pushed back. Driver's okay, but the car unable to move, obviously, with only one functional front wheel. And the timing screen has gone to 8 minutes. Incidentally, if you want to follow the live timing to date, you can do so at tsl-timing.com. That's tsl-timing.com for all the live timing and results from today's event. Pretty blustery here at Snetterton this afternoon. You can see the MSV flags waving. Thanks to all those chatting away on our stream comments as well. Hello to Dan Bartlett, one of our regular viewers. Hello to Mono, Hazy J. Hello to Woe Nelly Racing. My only racing experience in the UK was the mini festival at Brands Hatch, they say. I got to see Stig Blomqvist race a vintage Mini. Former world rally champion, of course. Hi to Jamie McEwen. He's a big fan of Jamie Keats' car with the chrome blue livery. To Larry Richmond as well. And to Luca Maserati Racing, the junior saloon car star, cheering on his former rival James Sherrington. Big thanks to all your chat on the stream. So the recovery vehicle in operation. Big thanks to all the Orange family as always, and to our recovery crews as well. And we will see a restart to the Virtue Mini Challenge season opener at minus Olivier Algieri. Message just come in from McScottish, who says, for reading out messages, can we wish Jakub Borovic, I think I've said that correctly, a very happy 7th birthday, watching his favourite racing series. Many happy returns to you, Jakub. And Rowan Saurus says, shout out to my wife, who's working as a scrutineer, keeping drivers, marshals and spectators safe. Busy on the stream so far, so we haven't had time till now to read out any of your messages, but thank you very much to all of you for getting in touch. Here's why the red flag is currently out. There we see Olivier Algieri. He was side by side with the 88 car of Alfie Garford as they came out of Agostini corner, then up towards Hamilton. Moved to the inside, but he cut a little bit too far to the inside. There's the tyre stack, wallop. He's lucky not to go over there. Just cut the corner too fine, smashed the front suspension, and out of the race. Holmes' recovery vehicle takes the car back to the paddock. Another junior saloon car racer watching is Lewis Stannard. Says good luck to Harry Smith, last year's champion. Yes, they were rivals at the front of the field. Lewis getting his first win at Donington earlier this year in the Saxos. This is really a natural progression from junior saloon cars into the minis. Snorbits88 says, come on, Kimmy171. Presumably that's a nickname of Leo Purchase. Motorsport says, good luck to all the ex-JSCC drivers and to the Westbourne team. Motorsport, would that be Jonathan Moore by any chance? And Jensen O'Neill going, the former Fiesta Junior champion, says good luck to Jensen Mason. There's Jensen Mason running at the moment on his debut. Well, the timing screen has gone blank now, ready for the restart. It'll be an 8-minute restart, and I think they will line up in the positions they were in when the race was halted. So the grid assembling for the 8-minute restart for the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy. Josh Wilby, who'd been leading, on pole position. Audacious dive down the inside into Murray's to take the lead from pole sitter Gabe Fairbrother. He lines up third behind Ashley Gregory, who's going well in the number 22 car. Reese Hurd in the blue number 59 on the second row of the grid. That's one of the Westbourne Motorsport cars. Reese is 21 years of age, comes from Brockham in the south of England, near Arundel in Sussex, and works as a roofer. Finished 8th in the championship last year with the Chandler Motorsport team. Won the Rookie Cup in 2023. Scored a few race wins last year, but missed a couple of races. So finished down 8th in the championship. Great debut by James Sherrington. His ambition this year to win the Rookie Cup. He might have more lofty ambitions after this one, up there in 5th overall. His teammate is Simon Sweetland. He's one of the elder statesmen of the championship, one of the seniors. There's no Directors' Cup, as we said this year, for the senior drivers. Ashley Gregory on the front row of the grid, comes from Rawtenstall in Lancashire. 10th in the championship last year, with a few podiums. Former mini stocks champion on the short ovals. Runs alongside the Manpower Motorsport car of Paul Manning. 19th in the championship last year. Local man from Norwich, he's further back in the order. Awaiting the all clear from the marshals to get our restart underway. Looks like we'll get a green flag lap to warm up the tyres. Running on Goodyear tyres, these minis. They head off the green flag lap. Goodyear tyres, 15-inch Team Dynamics wheels. Of course, the business founded by BTCC legend Matt Neal and his family. Maybe the next Matt Neal is in this field today, who knows? Starting out here at Snetterton, they've got 3 dates, as we heard earlier, on the Toka package as well. They go to Brands Hatch Indy Circuit in May, Thruxton in June, and Donington Park at the end of August. They support the BTCC. They'll also be at Croft at the end of June, Silverstone in September, and then the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit for the title decider at the start of November, alongside the British Truck Racing Championship, just as the title was decided last year. It's 50 points for a race win. 44 for second, 40 for third. So on downwards. There's bonus points for the fastest time in qualifying as well, which is 6 points. That's pole for race 3. And fastest lap in a race is worth 3 points. Drivers drop their single worst score each season. Make things a little fairer for those who would have to miss a race. We almost had a tie-break for the championship on race wins last year. There were just 2 points in it. Harry Hickton beat Sam Gornall. Who's it going to be this year? Returnees from last year: Gabe Fairbrother was 4th, Alex Keane 6th, Ronnie Smith, the top rookie, was 7th overall, Reese Hurd still in there, Ashley Gregory, Luca Marinoni Osborne, Leo Purchase. Josh Wilby was 12th and third highest scoring rookie, I should say, last year. Louis Fleets, Cameron Wood, Paul Manning, Jamie Keats, all back once again. You don't have to be an up-and-coming youngster in this championship, as well as the likes of Paul Manning have shown. You can race purely for fun in the Mini Challenge Trophy. sponsored by Virtue, and we must give Virtue full credit for their increasing sponsorship everywhere of British sport, it seems, at the moment, really getting behind a variety of British sporting endeavours. We'll be bringing them up to the grid on pole. Ashley Gregory alongside. Turquoise blue and white car of Gabe Fairbrother. Reese Hurd in the blue car, James Sherrington in red and whites. Then the blue and orange of Leo Purchase. That's your top 6 by the look of it for this restart. Pull to a halt on the grid then. Looks like it's Cameron Wood possibly at the back in the 43. We're just about to reach the halfway points of the first attempt. A slightly reduced race distance. One car has pulled into the pits. I think it's 185 Jensen Mason that's pulled in there, possibly, I can see in the background. It looks like we'll be taking the restart without him. He may join in from the pit lane. We're almost ready to resume with the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy season opener over the reduced distance of 8 minutes then. Revs begin to rise in the 1600cc engines. The red light is on and off they go down towards the first corner of Riches. Ignore the timing totem on the left of your screen for the moment. That's in numerical order for now, and Reese Hurd, I think it was, got away very slowly there from the second row of the grid. I saw a blue car moving off very sluggishly indeed as the leaders head towards the hairpin for the first time. Side by side the third, that's James Sherrington. He knows no fear, moving up on the outside of the hairpin. Yes, Reese Hurd's dropped right back into the pack. He had a terrible start there in the 59 car. Whether he's had a problem, Jamie Keats there going side by side with, I think that's Henry Foote in the 138 car. But it's Wilby who leads the way. Fairbrother second, Sherrington's up to third. He's got ahead of Ashley Gregory coming out of the hairpin on the inside at Palmer's there. Well, James Sherrington is absolutely flying in the white car with the red wings there. Wilby leads it, Gregory fourth, Leo Purchase up to fifth, and Gabe Fairbrother didn't get the best of starts either. Looks like he's down into... no, that's the 96 car, I apologise, up there. The turquoise machine in sixth position of Ronnie Smith. So Gabe Fairbrother still there in second place. Ronnie Smith in sixth. Alex Keynes is in seventh position. Jensen Mason, I tell you, is joining in from the pit lane. Swing their way through Williams corner onto the back straight, a little bit sideways. That's Luca Marinoni Osborne. A fairly quiet race for him so far. Was in the top 10 of the championship last season. Down the straight they come then. Moving to the inside is Sherrington. Josh Wilby being shadowed here by Gabe Fairbrother for the lead. Into Nelson. Second place car runs a little bit wide, so does the car in P6. That's Ronnie Smith coming under fire from Alex Keynes. Smith keeps his foot in around the outside. Up towards Coram. Still Wilby leads the way in the number 95. Somebody else, yes, that is Reese Hurd out of the race, so he did have a problem off the line. And he has pulled up, I think that's the inside of Palmer's. It's a great shame he was on for a potential podium as they come across the line then. First time on this restart. Wilby leads from Fairbrother by just under half a second. Sherrington going superbly up there in third. Then it's Gregory. About 3/4 of a second further back is Smith in fifth position, then Purchase, Alex Keynes, Alfie Garford, Craig Morgan's up to ninth, and Harry Smith rounds out the top 10. Down towards Wilson's hairpin, they dive through this very tight right-hander, and James Sherrington make further progress. He started on the fifth row initially. Great move at Agostini to move a couple of places in the early part of the first part of this race. There's Craig Morgan, the 51. Sherrington, the leading rookie, in third place. He wants to make it second, though, on the tail of Gabe Fairbrother. Josh Wilby still leads by about a mini length out in front. Ashley Gregory holding fourth ahead of Ronnie Smith. Through Hamilton. Very easy to run wide over the grass there. And back to the right through Oggies and Williams and onto the Bentley Straight where the slipstreaming will start again. Up towards the back of the circuit there goes somebody going wide there in the dust. Couldn't quite see who that was. There will have been Charlie Barr at the back of the field, the Chandler Motorsport car, the ex-Citroen C1 racer. Another car runs wide there onto the dirt. I think it was possibly Mackenzie Taylor for Accelerate Motorsport. Craig Morgan side by side with Jamie Keats in the chrome blue number 33, but Morgan holds him off. Through the bomb hole. Quieter affair on this restart. 3.5 minutes to go. Such a long lap here at Snetterton 300 circuit, the longest lap in the UK Club Motorsport. Up towards the line they come once again. And will be a 2:19.815. Fastest of the leading group with a 2:19.35 is Leo Purchase, the blue and orange car on the back of this train. Through Riches they go. No change among the first 9, that time through Jamie Keats getting into the top 10 ahead of Harry Smith. Sherrington tries to cut inside at the hairpin once again. It's not holding back certainly here in the number 40 car. There's a green flag there. I think there's a yellow on the exit of the hairpin for Reese Hurd's stranded car, so no passing out of the hairpins. James Sherrington couldn't have made the move there even if he had wanted to. Still Josh Wilby continues to lead the way in the 95. 11th in the championship last year. So a number of the front runners from last year have moved on up into the likes of the Mini JCW category. Ronnie Smith right on the edge of adhesion there as he tries to hold off Leo Purchase. Purchase and eclipse the back of him there as they go into Oggies. Alex Keynes is a bottle up behind him, and Alfie Garford as well in the 88, the Wear a Tool sponsored car. Less than 2 minutes on the clock now. Should get one more lap out of this. Here come the leaders down towards the left at Brundle. Will be on the outside. Battle for second still headed by Fairbrother. Ahead of Sherrington and Gregory. Sherrington holding off an attack from Ashley Gregory there, and Keats and Morgan almost come together. Craig Morgan's been wide onto the dirt a couple of times in this race. Well, BMW Minis, it's been shown in the last few years, do make good rallycross cars. I know Todd Crooks has won the BTRDA Super Modified title in a BMW Mini. It's rather more modified than the ones we see here. Over the line they come. Still your leader is Josh Wilby for Team Abago, ahead of the Accelerate Motorsport car of Gabe Fairbrother. 1.22 seconds in it, and Fairbrother cuts across the nose there. Well, I thought they were going to head into the pit lane exit, he and James Sherrington, and that's caused everybody else to stack up behind them. This is going to be interesting into the hairpin. It's like Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello almost there. Through the hairpin, they've all made it round. Fairbrother second. Ronnie Smith's into the battle for P2, 3 and 4 now. Ashley Gregory side by side with Sherrington, who lost that bit of momentum. Gregory is through into P3. Alex Keynes closing up as well on the back of Leo Purchase. This frantic group for second place. You see, one car loses a bit of momentum and it stacks them all into each other. Not literally, they've avoided contact so far. Side by side further back there's Keynes on the outside of Purchase. Smith having a go at Ashley Gregory and James Sherrington. Frantic here for second place. The clock is down to 0, so it'll be checkered flag this time. Josh Wilby has been able to escape as a result of all this schmozzle behind him. It looks as though Wilby is heading for his first victory, and off. That's Gabe Fairbrother. What happened there? Well, something had to give in that 6-car battle for second place, and that something was our poleman. Gabe Fairbrother looks like he's out of the race unless he can extricate the car from the tyre wall there. So Josh Wilby, the South Yorkshireman, away and clear. Who is going to be second? I think I see a bit of damage on the front of James Sherrington's car, so he may have had some contact with Fairbrother. Then Ronnie Smith is in 4th place. Alex Keane's up to 5th, and Sherrington. Now, whether he's damaged his steering there, I'm not sure, but he runs wide. Leo Purchase runs wide as well. Is there a bit of fluid down on that corner, possibly? Purchase loses out to Craig Morgan, among others. Yes, James Sherrington, I think his car might have a bit of damage. He's losing a few places there. Somebody not losing places, though, is Josh Wilby in the number 95 car. He is coming in to take victory here at Snetterton in round 1 of the Virtue Mini Challenge Trophy. Checkered flag is at the ready, and Wilby wins it. Ashley Gregory, an excellent 2nd place, and 3rd goes to Ronnie Smith. 4th across the line, Alex Keanes. Sherrington recovers to take 5th, and he wins the Rookie Cup split, just ahead of Alfie Garford by a 1/4 of a second. Then Keats in 7th, Harry Smith 8th, Craig Morgan 9th, then after running wide, Leo Purchase takes 10th position. So a bit of push and shove on the final lap came to a head there, sadly for Gabe Fairbrother. We'll confirm the provisional results in a second, but well done to Josh Wilby, number 95. One from Doncaster takes his first Mini Challenge Trophy victory. Almost 2.8 seconds. Let's have a look again and see what's happened there on the final lap. Gabe Fairbrother just ran wide all on his own. Strange incident there, coming through the right-hander at Oggies. I thought he had a bit of contact there, but that was not the case. And then through Nelson on the final lap. Yes, James Sherrington just understeered wide. Leo Purchase going off as well. I thought there was a bit of damage on the front of Sherrington's car because the bonnet was flapping a bit loose, but I thought he'd had contact with Fairbrother, but that's proved not to be the case. Josh Wilby it is who takes the victory by almost 2.8 seconds. Ashley Gregory, her best ever result, in 2nd. And Ronnie Smith on the podium in 3rd, ahead of Alex Keane. James Sherrington, the top rookie, in 5th place, ahead of Alfie Garford. 3rd of the rookies, Harry Smith. He finished behind Jamie Keats. Then Craig Morgan, Leo Purchase, Henry Foote, Luca Marinoni Osborne, Paul Manning, and Monroe Renard on his debut finished in 14th place. 19 of the 23 starters went the distance. We lost Gabe Fairbrother, of course, on the last lap. We lost Jensen Mason as well after pulling into the pits on the restart. Reese Hurd had problems off the grid at the 2nd attempt, and of course Olivier Algieri didn't take the restart.
Well, an interrupted race, but it's still a stunning finish. Josh, how does that feel, my man?
Absolutely amazing. So, got past Fairbrother on first lap, managed to pull away. Just unfortunately, the red flag came out. Obviously, got a good start again. We just managed to maintain a gap all race.
It looked like it helped a little bit, the battle going on behind you. It wasn't a massive gap, but just enough, wasn't it? Just a little bit of breathing space for you.
To be fair, even when they were about half, I had the pace to stay in front and just maintain the gap all the way home.
What does it mean to get the win, Josh?
Brilliant. I just want to thank Team Have a Go, Dave especially, and all my sponsors, Nationwide Steel Buildings and Irish Wheels.
Go on, mate, go celebrate. You deserve it. I do want to find it. Come with me, everybody, because Ashley Gregory over here as well. This second place is a little bit more special as well because Ashley hasn't been well today. Ashley, I know this P2 means a lot to you because you're not feeling very well, are you?
No, not at all. Yeah, fantastic. Great result for the team.
It looked like Josh, he just gapped everybody a little bit, didn't he? But that battle for second was fierce, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I mean, once Josh got away, there was no catching him. But yeah, the battle between second to probably eighth was amazing. So yeah, super proud of that.
So you're back in the Mini Challenge Trophy. You're going in for the title this year, right?
Yes, 100%. That was the plan.
Nice one, Ashley. Well done. Congratulations. Let's grab a quick chat with Ronnie. Ronnie, a nice, solid start to the season, eh?
Yeah, we can't complain. I mean, we started 13th on the grid, so well, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to get a nice reverse grid or something, but what a race.
It was. Look, the battle for sort of second, third, fourth was really quite tight and fierce, wasn't it? And you were right in the mix.
Yeah, after the red flag, the red flag was a good thing for us. It obviously grouped the whole pack back up, and I knew we had a decent shot at it then. I mean, and then, well, what happened out there, the rest of it.
Well done, mate. It's great to see you again. Congratulations. Cracking celebrations, perhaps a little bit more muted than we might have expected, but a wonderful race anyway. Josh will be picking up the first race win for the Mini Challenge Trophy this season. Ashley Gregory in second place and Ronnie Smith in third. Right. Do you know what? I don't want today to end. We've got some amazing racing coming up. Now we have wall-to-wall caterers for the rest of the day. It's the Caterham 7 UK Championship coming up. So I'm going to hand over to your commentator, Dave Goddard, to take you through the action.
Thanks very much, Ian. Yes, now it's on to our fastest Caterham racers here this weekend. The Dutch Barn Vodka Caterham 7 Championship UK, based on the Caterham 420R. These are bespoke race cars, some of the fastest racing that you will see anywhere in UK club racing. And before we get underway with this one, we caught up with a couple of drivers earlier on.
Well, we saw a cracker in the road sports. Now it's over to the Dutch Barn Vodka Caterham 7 Championship UK. A familiar face back in the championship. We've got Harry Senior here, and Harry, back with the sevens, back near the sharp end.
Yeah. Where you want to be. I mean, 2 positions off perfect, but it was close. I think 2 hundredths of a second over the top 3 in Super Pole, so it's going to be a good race.
Well, we just saw in the race sports, didn't we, actually? It doesn't matter where you start. I think the winner actually started 6th. So you're in a pretty good place here. Expectation for the season, you're going for this, aren't you?
I mean, that's why we're all here. At least the top 6 of us are. We'll see how it progresses, but if we can do a title, that'd be incredible.
We know how important the toe is. But at Snetterton, because you've got a couple of big straights, is it slightly more important here?
Yeah, massive toe circuit. I think you could be 2 seconds off the pace and still make it. You probably couldn't win, but you could stay with the top guys. No issue. So that front pack. Hopefully, it's only 4, 3, 2 of us, but it could very easily be literally everyone.
Wow. So everybody's in the hunt. Harry, thanks for talking to us. Really appreciate it. There we go. Everybody's in the hunt. So just very quick word with Paul Donkin, the man on pole position. Paul, you're in the hot seat. You're on pole position, but we've already seen today with Caterhams, anything can happen, right?
Yeah, I've not watched the other races, but a good start nonetheless. Matt's next to me. He's quick. Harry's quick. Again, anything can happen, like you say, Ian, so we'll have to see, but a good place to start. Let's see what race 1 brings.
Best of luck, Paul. Really appreciate it. Right, here we go. Time to go racing. The Dutch Barn Vodka Caterham 7 Championship UK. Yes, more Caterham action. I'm going to hand over to your commentator, Dave Goddard, to take you through the action. Enjoy.
Thanks, Ian. Yes, cars will shortly be making their way out onto the grid. A couple of minis to be recovered first of all. But Chris Hutchinson back alongside me as we get ready for the first race of the season. Tell us a little bit more on these ultra-quick cars.
Yeah, this is the top flight of UK Caterham Motorsport, the national level championship. They're all fighting for the title of British Caterham champion. 180 horsepower in this, the 7 Championship UK. You can see we've still got a couple more Caterham races to go after this one, 270R and then the 310R to conclude the day. Can't wait for those. But the top level of Caterham Motorsport Roadsport. 180 horsepower, fully slick-shod cars, uprated suspension. You'll hear the engine, it sounds completely different. It's got a 6-speed sequential Sadev box, and these drivers really are the best of the best here this weekend. We've got people fighting it out. No, Lewis Thompson not returning this year, our double champion. He's won it for the last 2 years. So who is going to pick up the mantle? Well, Paul Donkin's gone and shoved it onto pole position. They have their super pole race that they had this morning. So they have a normal qualification session, and then the top 5 have a single lap shootout. And it was Paul Donkin actually only just scraped in 5th place on that on the super pole, but he comes out on top. With pole position over Matt Armstrong and his dad there not too far back on row 3 as well. But Harry Senior was a really quick entry into the championship last year, and seeing what he can do from 3rd place here today. Henry Heaton back. Harry Cook, our 310R champion, ahead of Heaton on the actual grid there though. And he's obviously acclimatised very well to this car, and it's not easy to do, jump in and be quick, especially around here at the Snetterton circuit. Then we've got Justin Armstrong, so the dad of Matthew. He is our first of our AM drivers. So this championship has a 2-class system. We have our Pro-Am drivers and also our AM champion drivers, and they compete for separate trophies. But if an AM driver gets too many I think it's 3 podiums in the overall, he will be promoted up into the Pro-Am Championship. So we've got Donkin, who is coming in here from 2nd place last year, looking to see what he can do from pole position in his red machine. And I can't wait to see how everyone gets along. I'm excited for this because there's a lot of good drivers. There's some new drivers coming. Henry Heaton coming back after a year off, and he is always rapid. He started racing with me back in 2013. He pipped me to the Academy Championship, but he's back here in his blue machine. You can see they've got slightly different roll cages. They're easy to spot. They're the most different looking cars that we've got here. The full sort of roll cage that goes over both sides of the car. But you can see Paul Donkin there in the red and white machine, the DPR Motorsport car, alongside Justin Armstrong's and Team Parker Racing. They've got Harry Senior in Rod Springate Racing, RS Racing. And as they go back then, there's Harry Cook. He's taken over his livery, his British Fossils livery, into the 420R machine. And then you can see Justin Armstrong in the similarly liveried car to Matt that we can see in the foreground, just a slightly different colourway. And as the rest of the cars go back, can also keep Chris Fraser in the Dutch Bar and Vodka a bit further back. Here is a confirmation then of the grid.
Yes, it is following Super Pole Paul Donkin, who sets pole position in the DPR Motorsport car alongside Matt Armstrong, run by Team Parker Racing. 2nd row, a tale of 2 Harrys. Harry Senior in the 28 and Harry Cook, the reigning 310R champion. Big step up for him this weekend. He's done great to put it on the 2nd row. Justin Armstrong Senior on row 3 alongside the returning Henry Heaton at number 10, the metallic blue car. Row 4 is Greg Monk's number 5, and number 8 is the Dutch Barn Vodka car of Chris Fraser. Harry Landy on row 5 alongside the 56 of Craig Story. And on row 6 we've got 62 Darren McCormack, 35 Mark Kendall. 7th row is 64 of Tom Eden and 22 Gary Curtis. Penultimate row, 98 James Hall, 16 Steve Metcalf and 68 Chris Welch. Starts at the back. A new title sponsor for this year as well. Dutch Barn Vodka certainly putting a lot into Caterham Racing, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are really supporting Caterham Motorsport, and long way it continues. So you can see Chris Fraser in the Dutch Barn Vodka car, the turquoise car, sort of on the right hand side, midfield. He's got a lot of pace in that car. If he can extract it, he will be moving forward. Remember, they've got slick tyres on this car, so they will have to work hard on this green flag lap to get the temperature in. Luckily, Snetterton's quite a long circuit compared to some, so you've got a lot of time to be able to do that. But it is really important, and actually, if you don't get the temperature into that tyre, then you just will not get that car off the line. It will really start to spin the wheels. Keeping an eye out also for the wind. It's still really gusty out there. I can see they're going to have a headwind all the way down the Bentley Straight. They're going to have a tailwind up to the start-finish straight that they're just heading through now. So there is going to be a lot of overtaking going on down into the Brundle-Nelson complex at the end of the Bentley Straight. There is our reigning 310R champion after what was a stellar season of 310R racing last year, and somehow he held it all together in a perfect sequence of races at Donington Park and took it just by that single point over Taylor O'Flanagan, who we'll see out in the 310R a little bit later on. But yeah, a lot of these drivers, obviously they're all very, very good at what they do to get to this top flight, and especially at the front of the grid here, multiple champions, all know all the tricks in the book, and they will be working hard to figure out how do they outsmart their competition around Snetterton circuit.
So making their way round on this green flag lap then, and mentioning the 310Rs and the 270Rs, they really were superb at every event. Actually, I think the highlight for me was racing on the reverse direction circuit at Knock Hill. That was something special.
Yeah, so the 310Rs were so sustained last year, but the 420s also, the 7 Championship UK, so you'll hear me sort of interchangeably do that. It's the 7 Championship UK race series, but they are racing the 420R car here, and there is the Dutch Barn Vodka sponsored car there. So Chris Fraser taking it around Oggies, and you'll see visibly how much quicker these cars are. They're taking much more speed around all the apexes, but last year they put on some spectacular races as well, and it's they've also got their chance to shine on the Tocker event coming up at sort of towards the end of May. So you'll get to see them racing on some big big spectacle grids as well as they're heading down that long Bentley Straight. We're going to see an awful lot of changes going on here, but like I say, these drivers all know what to do. We haven't got as many cars on this grid as we say have on the Roadsport, but you keep an eye on this action at the front where Roadsport sort of split up in the middle of the race. We're not going to see any of that today. Can Matt Armstrong do it? He actually got the outright pole when they did the first qualifying session. He missed out in this super pole session, but he's got a lot of speed in that car, and he's going to be seeing what he can do. He's outdid his dad for this time around, but they also have some good battles out there on track. And we've got some great drivers returning, like Tom Eden's been a stalwart part of this grid as well, and he's always quick. He's a bit further back on the grid. Harry Landy going to go and see what he can do in the middle pack at the moment, as in Darren McCormack as well, someone else who sort of started off last year, threw himself in the deep end. He hasn't driven the Caterham before in anger, and then he decided he was going to jump straight into this top flight of motorsport, and that's not an easy thing to do. Like I say, we've got the interest of the Pro-Ams, and they're mainly the drivers at the front of the grid, and then the Ams who start sort of in the mid, but Justin Armstrong heading them at the moment. Paul Donkin then brings them up to the line for the first of 3 races for them this weekend at Snetterton.
So here we go then with the Dutch Barn Vodka Caterham 7 Championship UK. Thanks to the title sponsors Dutch Barn Vodka. Of course, please don't drink and drive. Pole position then is Paul Donkin in the red and white car alongside Matt Armstrong. He's in blue and orange. The light blue car on the second row is Harry Senior with the red roll cage. Then in black and gold it is Harry Cook, the reigning 310R champion. Justin Armstrong, the blue and Dayglow yellow machine on row 3 alongside Henry Heaton. He's in the metallic bluish green car. Last couple of cars into light at the back. The red light is on already, goes out very quickly, and away they charge up towards Rich's corner for the first time. They are all away cleanly. It is Paul Donkin with a super start, leads the way into the first corner. Harry Senior going for the inside for second place. Looks like he's up alongside Matt Armstrong. Can he get ahead of him on the run towards Wilson Hairpin? Looks like he has. Armstrong in third place. Justin Armstrong trying to go around the outside of Harry Cook, and also up there on the outside, that's a very bright metallic car of number 10 Henry Heaton, who could make a move here as they go into Palmer's for the first time on Harry Cook. His first standing start in one of these machines, Harry Cook. They've got Greg Monks up behind them, and the bright yellow and pink car in there is Craig Story, number 56. But it's Paul Donkin who leads to Agostini for the first time.
Yeah, Armstrong in the AM class there, making up one position over the top of Harry Cook, who was having to defend. But Greg Monks also returning here. He's in the Pro-Am Championship. He was the X310R champion, so he's making his way in that white machine as they head round Hamilton's then this time. A lot of the cars throwing up a little bit of dust as we went through there, Matt. We actually had a staggered start, so that's the first time we've seen that. Normally Caterham starts side by side, but actually in this top level championship they now get a staggered start, which is why Paul Donkin was able to hook it all together and absolutely flung himself up towards turn 1. Matt Armstrong slightly less good start, and therefore he is having to defend from behind. And is that Senior now taking the lead over the top of Donkin? So even though Donkin had that little bit of the lead, it's this trio out front. So Harry Senior ahead of Donkin, ahead of the first of the Armstrongs, Justin just behind him. Henry Heaton managed to get over the top of Cook as well, so Cook slipping backwards a little bit in the early phase.
You can see how much quicker these cars are than the road sports we saw earlier on as they funnel their way out of Nelson. The bright green car there, James Hall, the number 98. At the back of the field there, the 68, that's Chris Welch, started at the tail of the grid, but they're all okay around the first lap so far. It's Harry Senior who will lead the way up towards the line to complete lap number 1, but will he be able to stay there? Will he be slipstreamed on the run down towards Riches? Paul Donkin has a look towards the outside. Third place is Matt Armstrong, and his father Justin behind him in 4th. Henry Heaton 5th, and Harry Cook rounding out the top 6. Heaton on the inside there, we caught a glimpse of going into Riches corner towards Wilson. Justin Armstrong, maybe family ties going to be ditched here. Matt Armstrong trying to get through on the brakes around the outside, try and take the lead. It was Donkin who got into the lead down into Riches as they came over the line. Senior led up the line, but it is now Donkin back in front. Matt Armstrong coming through into 2nd place.
Yeah, and that outside line can really work, especially if someone gets hooked up in the middle. Nothing between the two cars there. Millimetres with Matt Armstrong pulling to the inside. Is he going to get down the inside of Donkin? It certainly looks like at the moment. They're going to go a little bit side by side, but he'll want to get line astern to make sure he doesn't lose out too much. There comes Justin then up the inside of Harry Senior. Leaves him the edge of the circuit and has to use all of it. So a little bit of a sort of shoulder move there. Justin's really flying in the early part of this lap. The two Armstrongs are sandwiching the DPR. So Team Parker sandwiching the DPR Motorsport in the middle there. Donkin though does still look as though he's got pace in this car. That move around the outside is going to be maybe used a couple of times, but you can't use it every single time. There's Greg Monks heading over the top of Harry Cook. So again, Cook's losing places, and there's Chris Fraser coming up to see what he can do as they come down the Bentley Straight towards us this time. Then who's going to come out in the lead? It's 4 wide as they head into this. Going to be Justin Armstrong, is it? Maybe Harry Senior around the outside. So the two from the sort of 4th, 3rd row of the grid are now pushing on through.
Wow, I thought Justin Armstrong was going to go from 4th to 1st in one move there. He didn't quite manage it. Harry Senior's got the lead back again. And is that Henry Heaton slowing there? I saw on the inside. He lost a bit of momentum, maybe missed a gear coming out of Nelson. He's lost a couple of places. Harry Cook's dropped back a little bit. It's a learning exercise for him. His first race in the top flight, if you like. So it is Harry Senior who has now got the lead. He led up the line last time through. It was immediately taken by Paul Donkin. This huge group at the front of the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A dozen cars that have broken away at the front of the field. The Armstrong family in battle for 2nd place now, with Paul Donkin in behind them. Then Cook has fought his way back up. Greg Monks is in behind him. The man is based over in the Netherlands. A big lock up there. That was Donkin, I think, and it was Monks going through the middle of Harry Cook, who could lose another place because Fraser's having a go as well.
Harry Cook's collected someone's rear wheel or front wheel guard that looks like it's wrapped around the front of his car. I just saw something awkward happen to Monk's car. I wondered whether he just ran over a wheel guard. Yes. But anyway, Harry Cook is going to be blocking all the air to his radiator, and I hope that's not going to overheat him. You can see it's just stuck. It's a rear wing, is it, underneath the front of his car? That's going to cause him. There it goes. It's just departed. Yes, there it goes. So it has gone away. So it is still Harry Senior out front. Matt Armstrong then has got a gap over his dad to Justin, and Donkin's actually fell back a little bit more there, but that is a rear wheel guard of one of these cars going around as it's all starting to come back together. But these cars have got a little gap up front there. Look to back for Justin, and then he's got even more of a gap back up to Matt.
I think it is Justin Armstrong's car that has dropped that bit of debris, which came to rest at Agostini after being pushed round for part of the lap underneath Harry Cook's car. Here come the leaders. Now what's going to happen this time then? I'll start to fan out across the Bentley Straight. Senior moves back out wide with Matt Armstrong on his tail. Justin in 3rd place. Paul Donkin side by side. Harry Cook, he has got into his stride now. He's up into P4 as they go into Nelson. Donkin is down to 5th.
He just got shoved out of line a little bit early in the race, didn't he? And now he's found his place in the queue again and is able to push forward. A great move around the outside there with the momentum down the straight. Again, it's possible to do that as we've got the left-hander at the end of the straight into the right-hander. But as they're coming through the endless right-hander of Coram and into Murray's, it's still these front two almost working together a little bit just to have a spring a bit of a gap. And Matt wasn't pushing it going down into Brundle and Nelson. So these two sort of relatively young guns out front and having a little bit of a comfort gap over the rest of the field at the moment.
Fastest lap of the race by Matt Armstrong, 1:59.728. They're lapping under the 2-minute mark out there, and that is impressive. Yes, nearly 90 miles an hour average around the Snetterton 300 circuit for Matt Armstrong. He's all over our race leader, Harry Senior. Everybody else is trying to be 3rd. It's Cook that has it at the moment, so he's definitely back into his stride now. Then Justin Armstrong, Paul Donkin. I think that was Fraser coming through next ahead of Monks and the rest of them.
Certainly looked like it was Chris Fraser, yep, in that Dutch Vodka. So side by side then for the lead. I wonder whether they are working together at this stage. Certainly Matt's got that inside line, but the more they go side by side, the more opportunity they're going to give Harry Cook to catch up into that in that 3rd place. And yeah, they are running a full 16 seconds quicker than the Roadsport car, so it shows how much of a progression you have through this Caterham Motorsport ladder. Really wide there for Harry Cook, and he will have to watch out. That'll trigger a track limits infringement, and he will only have a certain number of those before he starts getting penalties applied to it. But it is Matt Armstrong then that's going to lead them onto the back straight this time through. Monk's having a little bit of a hiccup there with the rear end of the car in front of him. Henry Heaton looking to see whether he can do anything. He's dropped back a bit as Henry Heaton. He's not going to be happy with that, so he's going to have to resettle. Still got 12.5 minutes to do something about these two sharing the lead quite nicely. Donkin now back up into that 4th place, having drifted down a little bit. And then we've got Justin Armstrong, who is probably the biggest loser in this sort of second quarter of the race. And Monk's looking to see what he can do with Chris Fraser hounding him from the rear.
Certainly is hounding him as they go through the bomb hole there. Chris Fraser runs a little bit wide on the exit. Mentioning track limits, we've had a couple of cars with the black and white flag. Number 35 Mark Kendall is one, and the number 23, which is Justin Armstrong, is another to receive the black and white flag. Just a warning for track limits: if they continue to transgress, it won't just be the flag, it will be a time penalty of 5 seconds.
That's right, you get one chance to cause one that you don't get anything for. If you do it again, that's when you get the black and white. That's your final warning. And if you then transgress the track's limits, and that means any wheels going beyond the white line or off of the curbs on the outside, that will be another track limit. So they've got to be careful of that. It certainly makes you have to be really more cautious. To the 5-second penalty, which is the first transgression after you've got all those warnings, means that you will be shoved right back down the order in these Caterham races. It can be the difference between being first and last. Chris Fraser has got over the top of Henry Heaton, then Tom Eden just following him, and then comes the 56 of Story chasing on. So Eden making some good progress in this middle part. Henry Heaton will be seeing what he can do. A little bit of a lock up there from Eden as they go into Agostini this time through. Then there is the 56 of Story, so finding his way out there, but he's got a bright colour. We can't miss him out there on track, can we?
We certainly can't now. Dayglow yellow and pink, certainly an interesting colour combination as they make their way through Oggies once again. So Cook up into 3rd place. Senior and Armstrong we saw swapping the lead down at Riches and through towards the hairpin that time through, and we're not even halfway through this. We've still got 10.5 minutes of this excellent race still to go for the Dutch Barn Vodka Caterham 7 UK Championship, as Harry Senior retakes the lead again as they go into Brundle. Harry Cook still there in 3rd. He's running nicely now. Here comes that car of Story up the inside, taking the number 64 of Tom Eden. That's the battle for, I think, 10th position now.
Yeah, Harry Landy in the blue car. Sorry, I was Tom Eden switches between a yellow and a blue car, and I misidentified. Harry Landy making some good progress there, trying to make his way back through. Now the front two are joined by Cook. That'll be the end of any kind of coordination they were having together, and you can see the front four have immediately come together. Justin Armstrong's next up. He's very wide there again, just careful of those track limits, but these front group are still very much running within good sight of each other. Donkin there pulling himself back up, and you can see that the Pro-Ams are starting to gradually move their way back to the top end of the field, and it's only Armstrong and Fraser who has found some of that speed that I said he had in that car, and is making a good work of that at the moment. But it is still Matt Armstrong then ahead of Harry Senius. We've got Donkin going down the inside of Cook, but that's not going to work out round this left-hander, and he will probably have to pull back into a line round Palmer's and try again when they get... Oh, he got squeezed onto the gravel a little bit there. You can see a dust get picked up. He does go back into line, but I don't think it was fully voluntarily.
Yes, he was... I don't think it was intentional there. He was just forced to go wide there. He's all over the tail of Harry Cook as Justin Armstrong closes back up on these two once again. Mentioning possible 5-second penalties for track limits. We haven't had any yet, just a couple of black and white flags. But given that less than 4 seconds covers the first 9 cars at the moment, that's how much a penalty can affect you in a race as close as this.
Exactly that, yeah. Harry Cook running with Williams Motorsport alongside Greg Monk, so a little bit of a bump there for Chris Fraser over the Oggies curve. The sausage curves are very vicious around here. If you take a little bit too much liberties with them, you can see how much that goes gets lifted up. And I think that's James Hall in the Oakmere Motorsport, so great to have all these teams, and they're all be glad to be back out here after their long winter breaks as well, all getting the dust out of the system and getting ready to go racing once more. And you can see the racing very much up and running as we go side by side between these two cars. They've just absolutely been hammer and tong, Eden and Story, for the last couple of laps.
Yes, and Story with a bit of a flick there as they came out, and Nelson got a wheel onto the curve. This is the battle for 10th position, a little way behind Harry Landy, who's now up there in 9th place. Moving towards corner, 8 minutes of this race to go, and they're queuing up behind our race leader, Harry Senior, once again. Who's going to make the move this time? We do have a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, and it's gone to Justin Armstrong, so that's going to drop him down the race order, unfortunately, in the final reckoning.
He may well not be the only one.
3 wide for the lead. Look at this. Sorry, Chris. And Harry Cook charging up the inside. Senior's gone through as well. Cook leads a Caterham 7 UK Championship race for the first time. But for how long? Up towards the hairpin. That was a daring swoop to the inside into Riches there. Here comes Matt Armstrong, Harry Senior and Paul Donkin. Now battle is joined.
Absolutely, yeah. So straight back on it. As soon as that gap disappeared, the pin's been pulled. They've only got 7 minutes in this race, and they've got to work out, where am I quick? Where's everyone else quick? Where can I slipstream? Do I want to be first coming out that final corner? Do I want to lead down Bentley Straight? It's all about the calculating now, and they've got to do that while still racing all of their compatriots, and it's all come back together. We know that Justin Armstrong there has lost that 5 seconds. I don't think he's necessarily going to be the last person to get one of those penalties. Henry Heaton seems to have gathered himself together, and he's just following behind Monks as they head up then through Hamilton. And let's see where this middle part of the race goes. But Harry Cook has jumped into this 420, and after what was a difficult first couple of laps, has really got it together, and he leads.
He certainly does. Yes, Harry Cook will be loving this out in front of the man from Wimborne in Dorset. He's under fire though from Matt Armstrong. He comes from Hinckley near Mallory Park in Leicestershire. Charging for the inside, that's Donkin down the inside on the 24 as Armstrong takes the lead. Donkin almost followed him into second place. He's got Harry Senior right on his tail, then Justin Armstrong, so it's 4 Caterham's line astern for the lead. Matt Armstrong leads once again as they go through the bomb hole.
And you've got Harry Senior there with a flapping front left wheel arch. It's not going to cause them any problems, and hopefully it'll just cling on in there for the rest of this race. It's the rear of it that's flapping up in the air, so it'll be a bit of a distraction, a bit annoying to see it out the corner of your eye, but it won't slow the car down at all, as we've got I don't know how many wheel Caterham heading up and over the line as they see these battles up and down the order. The number 68 there of Chris Welch following along behind Metcalf. It was in the 16 car, so that's who was racing. They got to change for the lead once more then. Matt Armstrong back to the front. He had to do the wall of death last time out. He was pushed all the way to the grass, but managed to keep the momentum. And Donkin now looking down the inside of Harry Cook, so from the lead back down into third place pretty rapidly.
Harry Cook still in there as well. There's that flapping bit of bodywork for Harry Senior, the number 28. He probably won't even see that though, as he continues to concentrate on those around him. Justin Armstrong just behind him. Greg Monk's in there as well, and Henry Heaton. The AM class is still led a bit further down the order by the number 8 of Chris Fraser.
Of course, because Justin Armstrong's actually in the lead on the track, but he's lost that 5 seconds, so he is back behind Chris Fraser, who is leading that, and he's being hounded by all these champions up the top of the field here. But Donkin in the second place then, DPR Motorsport in second place, over the top of Cook, who's having a fantastic outing there in his first ever 420R race, the 7 Championship UK. Chris Fraser has kept up with this group in front. Can he make any progress? 4 minutes left of this. Yes, they're doing 2-minute laps, so they've already got maybe 3 more laps in total to get done. 3 wide as they come down to Brundle and Nelson. Are we going to make it 4 wide? Not quite, but it's going to be Cook round the outside again. Matt Armstrong following him. Donkin's going to have to feed in behind, but he might be able to get a little bit of a run out. No, it's going to end up in that order as we go through the bomb hole then for this 3 from the end.
Weaving about there in second place was Matt Armstrong trying to defend from Paul Donkin. Harry Senior in behind them up into 5th position. Looks like it's Greg Monks now in the number 5. Because of course Justin Armstrong will not count in that position with the 5-second penalty applied after the race. Somebody else has picked one up as well. James Hall, number 98, had a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits as well.
As they go across the line then, almost as one, closer than they were even on the start finish as we started this race 17 minutes ago. But Harry Cook is back to the lead. He's going to hold it this time through. Harry Senior looking around the outside of Donkin, wheel arch flapping. Justin Armstrong firmly back with that battle again, but he's probably seen those that penalty being applied to him now. He would have got that shown that on the gantry as we're trying 2 wide into Palmer's. That's going to lose out a lot of time. Justin Armstrong's going to get a bit of momentum down the inside. Not going to be able to do anything with but it's not what Paul Donkin wanted at that point. He's got to really be thinking about where he's got to be to try and get back to the front. That's where he'll want to be. He's one of the favourites coming into this season. Very strong set of races last year, and with Lewis Thompson here to take some of those wins away, he will be wanting to get some points early on. 3 races this weekend though, so it's important they do keep it all together, and the finishing order of these races will be the starting order of the next, so it is also important that you don't get out and push all the way to the back of the field, because that just makes your job even harder. But Harry Cook leads them then out as they've got 2 minutes 30 seconds. I wonder whether they're just going to get 2 more laps or whether they've got an extra on in the books, but it's Harry Cook leading them out then, just Matt Armstrong, then we've got Paul Donkin in that 4th place.
We fan out across the Bentley Straight once again. Having a look to the inside is Harry Senior. Can he get the car stopped in time? Yes, he can. Great driving by number 28, Harry Senior. He retakes the lead. Armstrong has followed him through into 2nd place. This is the battle for 5th position. A little further back in the order, we've got the 5 of Monks in there. The number 10 of Henry Heaton as well. They're being caught by Chris Fraser, who I think still leads the AM class.
Henry Heaton is our previous podium finisher in the championship and has multiple podiums in this class of so he's going to be trying to work out how does he move himself up from 6th place at the moment. They are coming on to their last lap then this time through. Another black and white flag being shown out there. 3 wide for the lead. Harry Cook looking down the inside, but it's going to be Matt Armstrong round the outside. Harry Senior looking to see whether he can stick in there in 2nd place. Looks like he's made that work at the moment. Donkin seeing whether he can go down the inside of Harry Cook. Really late on the brakes this time through. Does make it stop, and they've got someone going out wide. Is that Greg Monks? It is. Greg Monks out braking himself there, just losing places late on in the race.
Hoping not to lose places is the group for the lead. There's 5 of them still together. The black and white flag that was out was for Gary Curtis towards the back of the field, but it's 5 for the lead as they come down towards Agostini for what looks like will be the final time. Side by side was for 3rd. Donkin under fire from the 23, which is Justin Armstrong, and also in there the number 9 of Harry Cook. As Justin Armstrong runs wide, dropped to the back of that group. It's still Matt Armstrong who leads from Harry Senior 2nd, Paul Donkin 3rd.
Watch the attitude of these cars change though. Everything becomes really important now. You've got to, if you've got anything to give, you've got to give it now. And actually the 2 out front, Armstrong and Senior, a bit like earlier in the race, they have broken away. They're going to be in the prime seats. Is Harry Senior going to be able to draft on the way up to the start finish straight? Still a tailwind up here, so it's not going to be as easy as it is going to be to overtake down to the Bentley Straight. Harry Senior then is going to take the lead as they come down to the end of this straight. In fact, no, it's going to be side by side. He does let Matt Armstrong. I wonder whether that was tactics, but Cook is back up into that 3rd place.
Any one of these 5 or 6 can still win this. We know that Justin Armstrong will have that penalty as well. There's another couple of cars closing up on them as well now. It's Matt Armstrong who continues to lead. Harry Senior shadowing him as they come towards Coram. The clock goes to 0 now, so it will be checkered flag this time. Who's going to win the first Caterham 7 UK Championship race, sponsored by Dutch Barn Vodka, of the season? They'll race up towards the line any moment now. Checkered flag is in sight, and it's Matt Armstrong who takes it in the number 19 ahead of Harry Senior. Harry Cook in 3rd place. What a great debut in the class for him. Paul Donkin comes over in 4th position.
Yeah, Donkin was on the grass as he went out the last corner. That time he lost all the momentum he had built, and he wasn't able to then push for that win. But Matt Armstrong was able to make it to the line without any issue there, ahead of Senior. Cook was actually catching up with Senior as they went towards that line. Donkin will be happy to hold on to 4th, because Henry Heaton managed to make it past a couple in that last lap, all the way up to 5th place.
Extra breath is always needed after a brilliant race for the Caterham 7s. Great race for the Caterham 7 UK Championship here at Snetterton to kick off their season. They head back into the paddock, so we'll hear from our race winners after we've confirmed the provisional results. Winning margin very close indeed once again, less than 0.2 of a second covering the top 3. Matt Armstrong the winner from Harry Senior by 0.045 of a second. Harry Cook completing the podium, a fine debut in the class for him. Paul Donkin finished 4th and got the fastest lap, with Henry Heaton rounding up the top 5. The AM class was won by Chris Fraser ahead of Justin Armstrong, who drops to 7th with the penalty applied. Then Greg Monks ahead of Tom Eden. Craig Story, Harry Landy, who dropped back in the closing stages there, Darren McCormack, Mark Kendall and James Hall, who also had a 5-second penalty. Gary Curtis, Chris Welch, and Steve Metcalf completed the 17 finishers. I think we can head down to Ian in Parc Fermé.
Wow, what a great last lap on that race. I mean, the whole race was so close, but I'm just going to grab a word with these guys and go straight in with Matt, who hates being interviewed. Matt, was there any planning in that last lap? I mean, it's so hard, isn't it, around here with the toe?
Yeah, I mean, I just ended up where I was, so I just hope that he didn't get a great toe on the back straight. So luckily he didn't get a great run, so I was able to outbrake him into the chicane. So all good. No plan though. Just luck.
Just luck.
Just luck, yeah.
Just luck. Well done, it paid off. Excellent driving, that was great. And let's go to Harry. Harry, that was a great battle, wasn't it? Between, I think there was 5 of you actually.
Yeah. Too many. 2 or 3, that's kind of my limit. Shame I thought I could tow past him on the line coming out the last corner. Turns out you can't. I'll remember that for tomorrow. But yeah, amazing race. Very, very tired now.
It's very close but very clean, which is nice.
Yeah, no, very, very little, to complain about there. Awesome race, very clean. All these guys are great, so I'm very happy to be here.
Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
Great way to start the season. Harry, it's lovely to see you in 420s, and you put on a mega fight there. It was brilliant driving.
Yeah, it was very good. Just a lot to learn, I think, and getting used to everyone around me because I don't know how they're all, going to race. But it was actually very fair. Aggressive at times, but then it was good and fair. So I enjoyed it and happy to get a podium.
Yeah, good starting place for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to sort of suss everything out this first one and then maybe go for the top step next one.
Yeah, definitely. Well done.
Thank you.
Right, we're just going to move on to the AM class and interview these guys. Let's go speak to Chris.
Hello.
Who's top step of the AM class podium. Brilliant. Yeah. Well done. Did you enjoy that?
I did. That was so intense. I mean, I've had brake problems all weekend, but we went back to my brake pads. We got them out of the skip that I ran on Thursday, and they worked.
That's brilliant.
I know. Well, it's just we were all out of ideas, so we went for that. So that was intense. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I was just saying to Harry, it was a good, clean racing. Like it was close all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's the first time I've raced against Greg and Henry, like really up close. So that was good fun. Like really good, clean, hard racing, but like properly hard.
Yeah.
But I loved it. That was great fun.
Excellent. 2 more tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Bring it on.
Well done. I'm just going to grab a quick word with Tom. Tom, well done. We chatted earlier, didn't we, after quali, and you weren't particularly happy.
No, I wasn't. I was really struggling, and I just couldn't. That's why, to be honest, I lied. I didn't need the toilet. I just ran out of excuses to tell you. But we ran at the drive shaft broke, which made complete sense. So it was brilliant. It was like a different car. So really fun. Great.
Fantastic. So it gives you that confidence then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah. Really nice.
Excellent. It was lovely to see you on the podium. Well done.
Thank you.
So next up is the 270R Championship. So we'll head back to Cheesy and Dave.
Thanks very much to Sam down in Parc Fermé. And next up on the schedule today, penultimate race of this first 2 days of racing here at Snetterton on BARC TV, we have the Edge Caterham 7 270R Championship, the third rung on the Caterham ladder. And we caught up with a couple of the drivers down in the paddock a little earlier on.
So we've come down to the assembly area for the 270R Championship, and I'm alongside Jasmine Shaw. Now, Jasmine's new to the championship, new to Caterham Motorsport Series. Jasmine, lovely to see you here. What's your background then?
So, 4 years ago when I was 15, I started karting. We then realised that we started quite late, so after a year in karting, we moved on to 2 years in Fiesta Juniors. And then last year we did quite a bit of single-seater testing, and then this year we wanted to get back into a really good race series, so we thought we'd give Caterham's a try.
Excellent, no better place for it really. How are you enjoying the 270?
Yeah, it's a really fun car to drive. It's kind of a mix of a load of different things that I've driven before, so it's taken a bit of getting used to, but I think I'm getting there, so hopefully we'll just go out and have some fun.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. This is my first proper weekend in the Caterham, and first race, so I'm just hoping that we can go out, not have anything too too major, and just go and have a nice race.
Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so whilst we're in the 270 assembly area, I've come across more drivers. I've got Alex Coombs and Adam Keane. Alex, obviously I raced with Alex last year in Caterham Academy. How are you finding the step up to 270?
Well, I'm about to do 50% more racing this weekend than I did the whole of last year, so I'm looking forward to the idea of something coming tomorrow, not just the pressure being on one race. So let's see how we go. I think it should be good.
Brilliant. And Adam, obviously you did one guest round, didn't you, in 270? And you're pretty quick in these cars. You qualified third today. How do you think you can go from there? Obviously it's all about toe here, isn't it?
Yeah, and this wind is going to be interesting. It's picked up a little bit since qualifying, so I think changed quite a lot. So yeah, I think the back straight is going to be where all the action is. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know the guys I'm racing against at all, and that's quite unusual. Like normally, you race together for a couple of years, so you get to know people's characteristics, strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, it's going to be a steep learning curve for everyone, I think. Yeah.
Well, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Good to hear from a couple of the drivers down in the assembly area as we get ready for the 270R season opener. New sponsor this season as well, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so excuse me while I get my sheets up. But yeah, it's Caterham Parts have got a new sort of premium Edge parts division, so keep an eye out for all the details on that, and they're sponsoring this 270R championship and another bumper grid of cars coming up here in this first of their 3 20-minute races, the third step on the Caterham Motorsport ladder. So the road sports we saw earlier, you take your windscreen off, you put wide track front suspension on, uprate the suspension all round, give it a little bit more power and a few more anti-roll bar options front and rear, and then you get the 270R championship. And a fantastic car it is too, really getting racy, no longer road legal, so it is all now about you can still drive it on the road as long as you do a little bit of conversion back, but actually when in the race form they are not road legal anymore. But it's good to see a big grid of these 270Rs and really open field of drivers this year. It's hard to pick out a champion. I think we saw Ben Wheatley last year giving some really good racing as he came in as a guest a couple of times and really took it to Ben Timmins out front, and he's back and actually put it on pole position here, so maybe he is one for that. Paul Oglesby also coming back to give a good sort of championship charge, I'm sure, and he's finding himself at the front of the grid. But yeah, really difficult overall to pick a sort of champion. We've also got Bruno van Dijk, who wasn't entered in until very late last night when he kindly got permission from his mum to go racing, and she paid for his position, so he's out there. But unfortunately in qualifying something was awry with his car, and he's been put to the back of the grid, but nevertheless he's always an exciting driver to watch out there, and thanks to mum for paying him to go racing today. It's good to see him out there on the grid.
Yes, very much a family affair is Caterham Racing. Bruno van Dijk and also Monty Hine, number 76. It was the same rule about non-allocated tyres that they used in qualifying, non-approved tyres, so their cars have been moved to the back of the grid for this first race. The reigning 270R champion is Ben Timmins, but I believe we're not seeing him racing this year, sadly.
Yeah, sadly no racing on the Caterham ladder this year, unless he's going to come back and do some guest racing, but he's certainly not doing a full championship. And like you say, it's a shame not to see him out there, because he put in such a sequence of over the last few years. He's been an absolute front runner, hasn't he? And run away with it many times. But it's say he leaves behind him in the vacuum of his championship a great set of drivers here ready to take on that mantle. And so how many have we got? We've got 31 drivers due to take to the grid, and every single step of the ladder you go up, everything gets closer, everything gets quicker, everything gets more racy. You get obviously drivers who are coming out of maybe having done the academy 2 years before, finished a complete road sport season, so they kind of know the ropes. And actually in the 270 class you get drivers who like to just stick in that class. You don't have to move on. It's the first class as well that we allow on the Caterham Motorsport ladder for team support to happen, so you'll start getting teams involved in the setup and looking after of cars, and so everything just gets that little bit more serious, a little bit more racy. Still Caterham action though, but it's close, it's fierce, and we're going to see some fantastic action I predict out there today.
Yeah, they had a fantastic season last year, the 270Rs. A couple of the leading runners have moved up into the 310R class over the winter. We also saw Megan Bruce racing in the championship last year. She's moved on into single-seater racing this year.
Yeah, she's absolutely sort of taking her career to the next level. She gave a great performance after a shaky start, it has to be said here, 12 months ago. She had an accident with Ben Timmins, and it wasn't the best start to her year, but nevertheless she brought it all back together, and like you say, she's now out there racing around and seeing what she can do. But yeah, hard to pick out those winners, but certainly Wheatley, Oglesby and Keane, who are at the front of this field, definitely going to be, those three are going to be up there.
Well, we mentioned Ben Wheatley in the build-up to this race with some guest appearances last year. He's back and he's stuck it on pole for the first race of the year in the number 53. 2 minutes 10.682 his qualifying time, alongside the reigning Academy champion Paul Oglesby. See how he goes. He's skipped Roadsports, gone straight into 270R. Second row is number 88 Adam Keane. He could be a favourite here. Has had a couple of wins already in another Caterham series this year, starting alongside the 15 of Nick Sampson. Row 3, number 11, Barry Hanif, all the way from Scotland, starts alongside Nick Heighton in the 78, a former Academy champion as well. Row 4, number 37, Henry Speaks, based in Hong Kong, starts alongside Daniel Hope in the number 9, completing the top 10. 51, Harrison Cavers, comes from a Porsche racing family, and number 22, the marvellously monikered Lionel Tolmash. On row 6 of the grid, number 69 is Lewis Darling. He's just 18 years of age, starts alongside Sol Rogers in the 85. Row 7, number 10, Harvey Ashmore, and 66, Holly Kibblewhite. Alex Coombs, who we just heard from, starts on row 8 alongside number 2, Graham Handy. Row 9 is 23, Gary Cross, alongside number 8, Django Jones, Django Unchained as we call him, and completing the top 20, 31, Andy Bailey, and 6, Tim Hardcastle. Row 11 is 26, Tim Payne, 92, Howard Ashmore. Andy Palmer, number 63, on row 12, lines up alongside young Jasmine Shaw, the ex-Fiesta Junior racer who we just heard from. Row 13 in the Mazda 787B liveried number 49 is Graham Finlayson, alongside 73, Brian Joyce. Row 14, Andrew Mackay, number 65, and 62, Anne Hall. And the two cars who had their qualifying times disallowed for those tyre irregularities, number 3, Bruno Van Dijk, and 76, Monty Hind.
Yep, so some good names to watch out for there, and these names that we've seen at the front of the grid. Lionel Tolmash is not doing a full season this year, so he's coming in here with that kind of freedom just to go and really put his car up the front, and we regularly see him do that. So watch for him coming from 10th place, because I think that's lower down than he maybe would have expected from qualifying, but he's going to be pushing forward. Lewis Darling, another Academy driver from last year, getting putting himself straight up into this 270R, skipping out Roadsports entirely, which you're totally entitled to do. I personally recommend you do all the steps of the ladder, just because it sort of brings you on as a driver, but I know that Lewis is now looking to see what he can do. In 11th place is not a bad start, is it? But Paul Oglesby shoving it on 2nd place, really saying that he's got that intent and wants to go and do well. Ben Wheatley was the only person really that could properly put it to Ben Timmins last year, so is he going to run away with it like Ben did last year? I very much doubt it, but you can see him there on the left of your screen in the blue and dark blue, a sort of cyan and dark blue coloured car. Oglesby in his green machine, followed by Adam Keane in the dark green, sort of British racing coloured green. Then we've got Nick Sampson next up in the red and white machine.
They move off then for their green flag lap, this big grid of 30 cars out there. This is going to be an absolutely frantic slipstreamer once again. This is where, on the rungs of the ladder, as you've said, Caterham Racing gets a little bit faster, a little bit more professional for these drivers, but they love every second of it. I'm sure all of you viewing today do. Thanks again for all of you for getting in touch and for all of your kind comments.
The top 10 just about covered by that second, and actually 2 seconds covers the top 17 to 20 sort of ish area of this grid, so really is closed in, and yeah, I hope you're enjoying the racing so far. Plenty more action left tomorrow as well, after we've got 310R, which race don't go anywhere after the finish of this race, because that's going to be fantastic. But yeah, and you'll see them all out again twice tomorrow as well. They're heading down then towards this Agostini complex Going to be hard. You've got some drivers, like we say, skipping steps, some drivers staying where they are, some drivers will have moved on to 310R, and some will have moved out. So it's about knowing where to look and who's going to make that momentum. Good to see Sol Rogers. I'll call him out there in 12th place on the grid in a white with the Dayglow yellow. He's made really good, steady progress over the course of his racing, and it's good to see him really pushing up towards that top 10 now in that white machine. There he is as he goes through Hamilton. Let's see whether he can make any more places up there as they start. This is their first of their 3 races. They've got 135 horsepower in this machine, so increase over the top of the Roadsport by at least a sort of 10 to 15 horsepower. We are going to see a new engine into Caterham Motorsport next year. Horse engine is going to be taking over for the Academy. So we've had Ford Sigma for a long time, but we're going to have a new 1.3 litre turbocharged 130 horsepower in that, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. So a new generation of Academy cars, and that engine will then make its way up and through all the other steps of the ladder as they progress through. So exciting times for Caterham, and after the loss of the Sigma engine, which has been with us for about 16 years now, it's good to see the new replacement come on board.
So very evenly matched and competitive grid. I reckon any one of about 10 drivers could win this from here. Adam Keane has already got some racing under his belt in other series this year. That's the sort of army green coloured car on the inside of the second row alongside Nick Sampson.
Yeah, like you say, any of the top 5, 6 here really do. In fact, I'd put that down to maybe the top 8, and even Lyle Tolmarsh there in 10th. They can certainly all figure, but they are going to have to keep Ben Wheatley under control. He would be my my little sort of punt on this. If I was putting some money on it, it would be there with Ben Wheatley. But Oglesby, who knows what he can do from that front row. We're back to the 2x2 grid, so it's going to be absolutely close as you like leading up to turn 1. Can they all make it through? There's a lot of cars to get in through that hairpin, but I am hopeful that they can.
I was going to say if I was a betting man, but then I remember that I put the curse of the commentator on whoever I picked, so I will remain impartial for this one. The light blue and black car of Ben Wheatley on pole position, and the man from Nottinghamshire alongside Paul Oglesby. Can he take a win on his 270R debut, the Cambridgeshire driver? Having skipped the Roadsport step, Adam Keane, the car with the white roll cage on row 2 alongside the red and white of Nick Sampson. Barry Hanif on row 3 all the way from Scotland in his green and black machine alongside the blue and white and black alongside him, which is Nick Heighton. Then Henry Speaks in the orange and blue with the spotted pattern almost. So that's alongside Dan Hope, the number 9, in the black and white car with the orange flashes. Red lights about to come on then. They do so now, and they go out. We'll be underway for 20 minutes of racing for the Edge Caterham 270R Championship. They're underway and down towards that first corner they go. Who's going to get the whole shot into Riches? It is Oglesby from the outside of the front row. One car almost on the grass there, further out wide, but it's Oglesby who has held the leads, and dust being kicked up on the inside as well as the 30-strong field funnels its way through. Somehow they've all got through there. Oglesby leads. It's Wheatley in second place, of being challenged quite strongly around the outside. Everybody else trying to be fourth.
I think it was Adam Keane around the outside, wasn't it, in the dark green car, and he's certainly been a front runner in these Caterham since he joined the Academy a couple of years back. Wheel arch already gone missing, and that car up the inside of turn 1, I was wincing. It's got a loss of something. I think that's a fuel cap maybe not being put on that car. Lots of fuel tipping out the back of the rear of that. Not sure what car that was actually, but that's not ideal, and it's going to leave liquid all over the track, isn't it?
Yes, we'll pick up who that was in a moment. Then we've had a tangle down at
that's Tolmarsh maybe.
Yeah, that's Henry Speaks was the other car involved there. I think it may have been Lionel Tolmarsh. There's a couple of cars spun off there, so whether that is on fluid from that car that was dropping in, we didn't see who it was. Ben Wheatley has taken the lead from Paul Oglesby. Yes, it's the 37 of Henry Speaks involved there. He's going to pull off to the side of the road. His race is over.
Yeah, he can see his radiator has been punctured, so he needs to get that engine turned off quick smart. Wonder who that car was then, was trailing that liquid. I wouldn't be surprised if it was liquid that sort of helped with that manoeuvre down at Agostini. Certainly it wouldn't have helped the situation. But Ben Wheatley does lead Oglesby, and then it's Keane down the inside, chasing behind his... These are locked up heavily there into it. That's the number 78, isn't it, of Is it
It's Nick Hyton?
Nick Hyton. So yes, another champion there. Looking well, more contact as they come down. We've got a car speared to that's the Hanif brother. He's gone. Is he going to break it? Keep it out of the barriers? Not quite. His brother's not made it into this race. So Barry also now looking sorry for himself in the barriers.
Yes, Barry Hanif from Glasgow taken out there. There's debris on the track as well. He's got it going again. So a fairly chaotic first lap for the 270Rs, sponsored by Edge. And yes, there's a car that's leaking. We still couldn't quite see the number.
I think that's the tyre rub now from where he made contact with Barry Hanif. So I think that's more likely a bit of the front wheel guard rubbing against that car. I can't see the car that was leaking fluid everywhere. A bit further back, but we could continue on in this race then. So it is Wheatley over Keane. Oglesby was third, Hyton, then Tolmarsh. So it wasn't Tolmarsh involved in that accident. We'll have to identify who that was. Then Hope, Sampson, Cavers and Sol Rogers up into ninth.
It was the 69 of Lewis Darling, I think, sadly, that hasn't come through on that first lap. So he was the car involved in the tangle at Agostini. Possibly Harrison Cavers is the car, the blue car there that was smoking a little. We'll have a look as it comes through here. There's the yes, you can see it there. It's only when he goes round left-handed corners, I think. So it's Harrison Cavers that he thinks dropping fluid as more bodywork goes flying. So that's the damaged car we were mentioning earlier. The 18 of Oglesby runs wide. There's fluid down at Agostini. You can see it.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that kind of line. And as you say, as he's going around left-handers, that's where the fuel filler cap's on the right-hand side. So it's either not seated itself properly or it's just not on that car. Wonder whether he's going to get the black and orange mechanical to pull him out back into the pits to get that solved. Obviously, it's not very good to have fuel spilling out of the car. And it is a big fire risk, etc. And it's also putting fluid everywhere over the track. But the rest of this race continues. Like I say, really been scrappy, and we've seen some sort of wheel guards flying, which we haven't really seen in too much in the opening couple of rounds. But Ben Wheatley is trying to shake those chasing cars and managing to do it. I said, can anyone hold on to him? Well, at the moment, no, they can't. Adam Keane's trying another wing gone in the background there. I could see as well. Adam Keane over the top, then trying to hold on over Hyton, and does so. Oglesby drifting back to fourth place now.
I was talking to Caitlin Penny, the sim racing commentator, earlier on, and she was asking, how many wings do you think we're going to lose today? Well, I think there's a great many gone just in the first lap and a half of this race. A lot of tri-winged cars, shall we say, at this stage so far, as Django Jones has a look up the inside there, attacking Lionel Tolmarsh. But Ben Wheatley has checked out at the front of the field as everybody else scraps behind him. Keane in second place, and everybody else line astern.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's still absolutely close racing outside of that first, leading over the group. Keane going to come across the line just ahead this time, but only just over Hyton, who's like I say, ahead of Oglesby now. We're going side by side between Hyton and Keane. They've been having battles throughout their racing career, and it's good to see them continuing on. Oglesby now got the inside line, should have the up the inside as they go into Wilson this time through then. In fact, he does. Now the lock-up, though, he's locked up his rears. He's not going to get that stopped. He's going to lose a couple of places while he gets it all back together. Will be able to catch back up with them fairly shortly. But, yeah, sort of, it's a bit scrappy, isn't it, this 270R race?
Paul Oglesby was heading for the A11 there, I think, and heading towards Thetford. He's gathered it up again, though. He's lost a couple more places behind the number 15 of Nick Sampson. So Wheatley ahead of Keane, and Hyton was the order at the line that time through. Now in fourth place, I think it is Lionel Tolmarsh who's in there in the 22. Yes, there he is ahead of Sampson. So yes, he's in P4. Oglesby is down to sixth position. Cavers is next in the order, despite that what looks like a fuel leak. And well, a pretty mayhem-filled race so far. Ben Wheatley seemingly keeping his head while all around him, has to be said, seem to be losing that.
Yeah, absolutely. But Tolmarsh really making good on everyone else having those dramas. He's kept his nose clean and is quickly come into this top group. Finds himself in that fifth place and with a little bit of a comfort gap back to Sampson behind him. So Ben Wheatley, though, has got that extra speed, and he's just not got a compatriot to go with him this year. So Ben just going to have it looking like he's just got to hold on to this towards the end. Tolmarsh making another couple of places, is up into fourth place now, so he is making good progress as the battles continue then into this complex, as we're watching the number 3 car there.
That's Bruno van Dijk. Now he's come through from the back row of the grid. I think he's up to P12 in all the organised chaos we've seen so far. Just getting past no, he might be into the top 10 now, because he's just got past Harvey Ashmore in the number 10. So I think Van Dijk will be in the top 10 as they come over the line.
Super quick driver, and like we said, only made the decision last night when his mum said she'd pay for his race fee to come and enter. And yes, good to see him there. Sol Rogers, though, loses the rear. He's out onto the grass. He's going to lose out momentum probably going to lose 3 or 4 places by the time they get up to the turn 1. But yes, good to see Van Dijk carving his way through the field. Can he make it to the front group?
Fastest lap for our race leader, 2:11.801 for Ben Wheatley. He's over 3 seconds clear now of Adam Keane in second place. Tolmarsh is up into third, or at least he was at the line. It might all change as we get up to the hairpin. That's Heighton up into second place. Now he was fourth. It's changing every corner, that battle for second place. Here we are further back in the midfield. That's Dan Hope in the number 9 car. Somewhere in all this is Bruno Van Dijk. Now where was he as he crossed the line? He was P8. He's gained 5 places on that last lap alone. That's phenomenal.
Watch out, play that Jaws music. Van Dijk is coming, isn't he? He's charging on down. Charging down. But that's Keane, I think, on the trying to get down the inside of Height and get squeezed onto the gravel, so that's not going to help. It's actually, well, it is grass, isn't it? But it's the dust gets kicked up so quickly, as such as the dry nature. There is the 2 DPR cars running side by side of Van Dijk, I think, in the number 10. So that's all Harvey Ashmore as well. So as they head up through Hamilton this time through, and it's Keane now breaking through. Over Heighton is Dan Hope, and behind them following along.
12 minutes still of this race to go. We're not even halfway through this rather chaotic race for the Caterham 270Rs, but things seem to have calmed down a little now. There is Django Jones being chased by the number 21 of Alex Coombs, the former Academy man. They're back just outside the top 10, 4 wide into Brundle under the bridge there. This is never going to work. Up the inside, Nick Sampson gets that big squeeze from Lionel Tolmarsh. Also in there is Adam Keane, and Keane has just about held that what I think is second place. Yes, there's Nick Heighton in behind them. I thought he may have escaped in front of them. Escaping is Ben Wheatley. He's probably wondering where everyone else has got to.
I think he's giggling as he looks into his mirror each lap he comes through, but a little bit of wheel bashing there between Tolmarsh and Heighton. There was I think it was Sampson as well, wasn't it? So they really are trying to start to push the envelope as they come to the halfway point. We're not even at halfway point yet. Sol Rogers did lose all of those places, so he's got it all to do again. I think he came across in 12th. I think he might even be a little bit further back than that. But it is absolutely nose to tail outside of that leading car of Ben Wheatley. We're going nose of Adam Keane looking down the inside. Can he make it go through? Tolmarsh finds himself at the outside of the track, but in second place temporarily. He's going to go down to 4th place, I think, by the time we get out of the hairpin this time through. There goes Ben Wheatley in the other side of the track, resplendent going forward. The rest of them all come out to the hairpin, all still side by side, still squabbling over every centimetre of track.
Just over 1.25 seconds, covering 6 cars in that fight for second place at the moment as we come up towards half distance in this Edge Caterham Motorsport 270R Championship race. Down towards Agostini comes the second place battle. They start to fan out. This is what we normally see on the Bentley straight, not the run into Agostini. Now, who's got second place? It is Adam Keane, just holding Nick Sampson in the number 15, who's come through into P3, the red and white car, as they dodge out to try and break the toe. Tolmarsh is next in the order. No, he's not, because who's that coming through on the inside? It's Nick Heighton in the 79.
Must have missed a gear for that to happen. That's why he had to jink out so violently, because there's no way you'd lose that momentum coming out of Agostini.
Paul Oglesby next, and then it's Harrison Cavers, who seems to have recovered from those earlier problems now, and the car over keep going. There is Barry Hanif. He's still going after spinning off at the exit of Nelson earlier on. Now, where is he in the order? Just looking down the tiny screen towards the back of the field in this one. But just the one retirement despite all this chaos, and that's Henry Speaks.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, so he punctured his car against Lou Darling. That's Oglesby down the inside, locked up. Can he hold it all together? Yes, he can. Tolmarsh somehow surviving. They were ever so close. They were almost wheels interlocked there. There's really not much room going through that left-hander, and the cars are absolutely on the raggedy edge of grip. It's just absolutely rapid down there as you're trying to get it turned and slowed all at once from that epically fast car. There's Wheatley disappearing off up the road, and Sampson just finding himself up into that second place then, so great for him. Tolmarsh losing out in the middle phase of this as he went through those squabbles through the complex that time through, and yeah, Heighton and Oglesby also obviously losing out from the start of this race as well. They'll be seeing whether they could do anything about getting back on board.
There's a battle further down the order, and this starts Brian Joyce giving chase in the number 73 car, the man from Kent, as the battle for second place continues to intensify, heading out of Riches up towards the Wilson's hairpin. Paul Oglesby is there on the inside in the green number 18 car, and now fighting for 4th place, I think, these 4, which has dropped them slightly behind the battle for second. Tolmarsh in there. Oh, and slowing, that's Nick Sampson. What's happened there? He's suddenly slowed coming down the straight there. We didn't see what happened to him.
No, it didn't look like he had anyone to battle with, so I'm not sure whether again he's having gear selection issues there. But Oglesby now pulling to the inside then. Keane's got a little bit of a comfort gap in that second place. Oglesby takes third place. Tolmarsh around the outside of Sampson, but he's not going to give it up. More wings go flying. Tolmarsh has lost another wheel arch. They really are pulling.
Nice header by Nick Hyton there.
They've covered. The sideways there by the Tolmarsh car. I think in fact Oglesby even more sideways. I wonder whether there's still fluid going down on the track.
There must be.
They really are struggling to keep fully in contact with the tarmac, and I can assure you that they wouldn't normally be so raggedy. But there you go, they're still heading off round. Tolmarsh another bit lighter. Hopefully he's got enough fuel in that car to make sure he's over the minimum weight limit when he comes into scrutineering.
We haven't seen much of our race leader Ben Wheatley. There he goes under the bridge and through into Brundle. Everybody else is fighting to be second. I think Adam Keane possibly has escaped slightly now. Sampson's still there in third. Then I think that's Tolmarsh next. Then Oglesby, Hyton, Cavers in behind them in the number 51. There's bits of wing littering most of the Snetterton circuit. Plenty of souvenirs for our marshals.
Yeah, and I guess thank you to the stewards as well for letting it all to continue, because they're slightly off the racing line and therefore not affecting it. It's sometimes they do like to sort of get the marshals to clear it all away. I don't think they've had too much opportunity to do that, but the racing has continued and it has been fast and frantic. So we watched this battle of the number 31 there of Bailey, and I think it was Hindy he was battling with. I wonder where Monty Hind's a little bit further back than you might expect to see him. He's been up towards the front on occasion, but the rest of the field all flow through. Then Wheatley off and up the road. Keane still in that second place. Sampson, Tolmarsh, Oglesby, Hyton, Cavers, and Van Dyke up into 8th place. He's got a bit of a gap to get across now though to get involved, I think.
Lionel Tolmarsh and Adam Keane have both been shown the black and white flag for exceeding track limits, so they receive the final warning as they battle their way up towards Wilson's hairpin once again. This is scrap a little bit further down. You'll Randy Bailey there on the inside in the red number 31 car, making his way through on the 23. That's Gary Cross.
Is that Van Dyke car there? That is the Van Dyke car, so he has caught up with this group in quick order. He is now firmly in this battle that we've seen. This is going to be sending the cat amongst the pigeons, and the pigeons are already relatively disturbed from the fact they've been scaring each other to bits, haven't they, and ripping wings off each other, literally. But Van Dyke is at the rear of that field now, looking to see whether he can get over the top of Tolmarsh. I think he's done that already, so he is now going to be moving up to see whether he can make it anywhere higher into this top 10.
Well, we've got 5.5 minutes of this hugely entertaining race to go, and Bruno Van Dyke is still on the move from the back of the field. There's still Ben Wheatley who leads from Adam Keane, and everybody else battling for third place. Harrison Cavers closing up on Oglesby. So they go down the Bentley straight. Van Dyke monstering up behind them, and somebody's off. That's the number 2 car. That's Graham Handing.
Yeah, and the Ironman car sort of lost it. Looks like maybe all by himself. Or again, more fuel down maybe. Somebody
else
really
went wide there.
Exactly,
as well.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of cars jinking and jiving. Oh no, he was helped. He was nudged, shall we say. He is already losing the rear of that car, but then got helped. There's Sol Rogers on his trying to recover back through some of the cars and avoiding all this debris as they head around. Then 4 minutes 40 seconds left in this race. Even a bit further back, there's still no let up, is there? That's Cross there, and he's in 17th place, and there's still absolutely nose to tail. Ben Wheatley goes past and over that start finish straight. He's got over an 8-second lead. Look at the gap that he's managed to pull over the rest of this field. Have been squabbling. Keane's lost out. His gap that was there has lost it. Tolmarsh has got the speed in his car. Sampson, Hyton, Oglesby, Cavers. Then comes Van Dyke in 8th place. He was ahead of Harvey Ashmore. That's who we saw him battling with. In fact, he's still battling there. He's lost a position to Harvey Ashmore. He recovers back through, and as they head down into Wilson then.
This is a battle for second place. Lionel Tolmarsh is up into P2 then as they swing their way through. In P4 is Nick Hyton, then Sampson and Oglesby. Just exploring the limits. Oglesby moves up the Caterham ladder this year.
There's nothing between them. There's absolutely millimetres between the Sampson's front nose cone and the rear panel of Tolmarsh there. They head down. So Keane's lost that. Tolmarsh, in fact, it's Tolmarsh in second place, isn't it? They go side by side. Oh, there's a little bit of late manoeuvring then in the braking zone. That was a desperation kind of protection there from Hyton. He really didn't want to let Sampson go through there at all. Van Dyke's back ahead of Harvey Ashmore again after they've gone down the back straight. And yeah, still absolutely nose to tail. Still absolutely anyone of this mid-pack could end up in second place all the way through to 8th.
It is all about second. Don't forget Ben Wheatley is still out in front of this race, leading by over 9 seconds now. That's an eternity in Caterham Motorsport terms, as Nick Hyton is being reeled in by the 15 of Nick Sampson. Now there is Ben Wheatley, our race leader. We've barely seen him all race long. He has simply put his head down and
he's just
his right foot and cleared off.
He's just a 1/10 of a second away from getting the lap record all on his own, and that is no mean feat. So can he find that extra 1/10 of a second towards the end of this race and get himself a lap record, as well as this angry mob of cars comes through into the bomb hole this time. Oglesby there on the back of Hyton, seeing whether there's anything he can do. He's lost out a little bit in this race, but it's not for lack of trying, is it? But he's got Van Dijk now behind him, who I think is up into 7th and looking to see whether he can take 6th. This Coram, the everlasting right-hander, and then hauling on the anchors as best you can to get through Murray's and up onto the start-finish straight. Crucial today getting onto this start-finish straight. The wind is a tailwind as they go up here, but that's why we're seeing overtakes into Agostini, because they've got a headwind as they go down there. Side by side then between Keane and Tolmarsh, Sampson, Hyton, Oglesby, Dyke, as quick as you like, heading over the line this time through.
Onto the penultimate lap of this Edge Caterham 7 270R Championship race. Up towards Wilson's hairpin come the battlers for the minor placings. Lionel Tolmarsh and Adam Keane still fighting it out for second. Everybody else fighting it out for fourth. Was there a bit of contact there between Nick Hyton and Nick Sampson, which Oglesby separates them?
Hyton's locked his rear wheels and he just had a slide on all the way in there, so Oglesby made up that, but I think it was all by himself as he locked the rear wheels.
Into the closing stages we go then. They're not going to catch Ben Wheatley here, but they are determined to fight it out for second and third places as best they can. Who's this coming? Diving up the inside using the grass. That's Bruno Van Dijk taking Nick Hyton. Hyton will get back through, I think, on the exit. They're still side by side. They're bleeding on each other. Wheel bang is like Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell in the early 90s in that Spanish Grand Prix there. Millimetres between the two of them. So Tolmarsh now back up into second place in his rather lightened car, as you mentioned earlier. Still the fight goes on further back.
Yeah, so Van Dijk didn't make that stick. He kind of knew that he had to keep it trying. Are we going to get this other lap in? It's going to be close as he gets to the line. Here's Wheatley coming down towards us. You can see the angry mob weaving behind. So it's Keane trying to shake the likes of Tolmarsh off his rear panel. But I think they're going to go side by side this time through. Then comes Sampson and then comes Oglesby. There's a little bit of a gap then down to this Bruno Van Dijk Hyton batter, which is side by side once more. Van Dijk goes around the outside and I think has made a couple of places up. So he is now into that 7th. He's drifts off and wide. Hopefully he's not going to track limits infringement, because that's going to add one more to his warning pile. But Hyton at the moment is just having to just defend for his life. But Van Dijk was like the unstoppable force coming through then.
So coming up towards the final lap then. Ben Wheatley has gone through. Here comes the second place fight out of Murray's. Just saw Ben Wheatley go through. Here's a fight further back in the order.
Yeah, that was Hanif sort of still fighting his way back through. Did look like the rear of his car might be slightly awry, so hopefully his rear wing's going to hold on. Here comes though Keane ahead of Tolmarsh as they go on to this last lap then. Sampson is only just in there clinging on for all he's worth, but he's actually going to make some little progress. He's going to see for the work the outside move. Keane heavily on the brakes down the inside. He's going to make that stick. Sorry, Tolmarsh down the inside makes that move up over Keane. Then it's Sampson and Oglesby. These look like they're going to be for the second and third place battle, don't they?
Certainly, yes. One of these four is going to take the runner-up placing. They're 10 seconds down on Ben Wheatley. Then the next group is now headed up by Bruno Van Dijk ahead of Nick Hyton. What a charge through from the back of the grid for Bruno Van Dijk. 3 wide in the background. Who's this moving through on the inside?
Looks like Hyton may be losing it. Oh no, it's not. It's the number 51 of Cavers, Harrison Cavers there, seeing what he can do. Bruno might well make it if he can just get to this group. He has a chance, but he really has to get his foot on round Oglesby. Round Oggies, otherwise he's not going to make it. Oh, there's a little bit of front to nose contact there. That was Sampson pushing Tolmarsh onto this back straight. That might give Van Dijk just the sniff of this toe. He's going to get it. Van Dijk is going to be part of this battle for the finish. That's going to make things exciting.
Well, we almost saw bump drafting there. It's more like Legends cars than Caterham's for a moment there, as Ben Wheatley continues to set the pace. He's heading for victory here at Snetterton in the season opener for the 270R Championship. What's happening behind them, though, is what we are going to have a look at. Into Brundle, Keane up on the outside now, the inside of Samson. Tolmarsh is in behind them on the inside. Then Oglesby, Van Dijk is in there somewhere. Is that him coming through? Yes, he's in fourth in this group, fifth overall now. Running wide is Samson. They're going to be three wide into Coram. You don't see that too often. Up on the grass on the inside is Tolmarsh. Oh my goodness, Samson's gone wide onto the grass.
Contact between Samson and McKean, I think, and Samson spun it at the back there. That's going to bring Van Dijk up into fourth place, I think.
Ben Wheatley takes the checkered flag. He takes the win, unaware of all the drama unfolding behind him. Who is going to be second? We may have to go to the timing screen on this one as they charge over the line. It's going to be a photo finish between Keane and Tolmarsh, and it goes to Adam Keane by 1,000th of a second.
And Van Dijk does get that fourth place, only 66 hundredths behind, just ahead of Oglesby. What a race from Van Dijk from the back of the grid.
Wow.
There comes all the other drivers, including, yes, what a fantastic for the 270s. It's not been a dull second, but Wheatley imperious over top of everyone else. Keane was the first of the actual racy people in with Tolmarsh, Van Dijk, Oglesby, Samson. Absolutely take a bow, everyone. What a race.
Well, Ben Wheatley, I wonder if he was aware of all the drama unfolding behind him there all the way through that race. He was missing out on all the fun. He was out in front, taking the win by over 12 seconds.
He would have just been coming around lap after lap thinking there's more and more and more wings just lying everywhere. He wouldn't have had a clue what's going on.
And Adam Keane and Lionel Tolmarsh, a photo finish for second place. That just goes to Adam Keane. Let's have a look back at some highlights of that incredible race. Well, that whole race was like a highlights package, wasn't it? We had the fuel down from Harrison Cavers early on, the tangle between a couple of cars. That was Lewis Darling and Henry Speaks into Agostini. Then there's absolutely titanic scrap, which allowed Ben Wheatley to escape at the front. The tangle which took out Barry Hanif. He went off coming towards the bomb hole backwards into the barrier, but he did rejoin. Paul Oglesby locking up and heading for the A11. There was just so much going on. That race had everything.
It really did. He did very well to stop it then, actually. It was fully locked up and he fought back all the way into the front pack, so good job by him. More contact there with this between the sort of shoulder bashing between between the two cars there, more side by side, and there was the loose rear end of the number 2 that just got collected as he then went to rejoin.
And into the final corner, it was Nick Sampson, sadly the man who lost out with a spin. Ben Wheatley taking the win by over 12.5 seconds, but Keane and Tolmarsh 1,000th of a second, a virtual dead heat between the two of them. Bruno Van Dijk from the back row of the grid, 29th on the grid to 4th, an incredible drive. Paul Oglesby on his debut in the Class takes 5th. Sampson did manage to gather it up and take 6th position, just ahead of Harvey Ashmore. Nick Heighton down to 8th, ahead of Harrison Cavers and Dan Hope rounding out the top 10. Then Coombs, Rogers, Hind from the back of the grid, and Bailey. Most impressive of all, despite all the attrition in that one, only one retirement. Bad luck to Henry Speaks after that damage early on. I think while we get our breath back, we can hand down to Sam in Parc Fermé.
Right, they're out of the cars. I'm desperate to speak to these guys because that was amazing. Let's go straight to Ben first. Let him congratulate his family and team and his wife. Ben.
Hey.
12-second lead. Like, that is incredible around here. I bet you were delighted to break that toe and just get away, and then you could just have do your own thing.
Yeah, I can't quite believe it, actually. It was, I think that's, probably the most dominating race I've ever had. I think, first and foremost, I just want to say a big thank you to CTS. They've built an absolute rocket ship of a car, all through testing Thursday, Friday. And look, just a personal thanks from myself to Mark and Leanne, because they've been amazing with everything for the car, getting the car sorted, being really good to me over the last 12 months. So, yeah, we're back for a full season. And a few more of those would be quite nice, actually. So, maybe might get a little bit boring, but yeah, I'll welcome a race every now and again. But that was very good. Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it.
There was a very good battle behind you, so I bet it was quite chaotic at times. So I bet you're glad not to be involved.
I was just praying for no safety car, because I thought, So I was like halfway through the race, built the gap, and then was just trying to manage the tyres, make sure there was no slip, so that if there was a safety car at the end, I could then have a bit of tyres left in the tank to try and break away again. But I don't know, I think that was probably a bit lucky, and yeah, I can't see me doing that again in race 2 or 3, but we'll give it a go, right?
You never know.
You never know. Yeah,
when they all scrap behind.
well, yeah, plenty of scrapping behind then, that's what I say. So, it was a really good race, and more of that for race 2 and 3.
Yeah, excellent. Well done. That was awesome. Right, the others, where have they gone? Here you go, they're over here now. Let's speak to Adam. Adam, fantastic battling out there. Goodness me, you just got in front of Lionel by 0.001.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think I did a sprinter's duck. Come on. No, it was close. And what a race. I'm absolutely exhausted. Ben was gone after about 2 laps, and you could see it happening. And then I had a small gap at one point and thought I might be able to close up, but down the back straight, it's just the toe is so powerful that even if you're 2 seconds up the road, by the end of the back straight, you're side by side. It was carnage, yeah, but a lot of fun, and not a single touch on the car. Some great racing, so yeah, loved every minute of it.
Brilliant, well done, Adam. I'll just try and find Lionel. He's there he is. Lionel, 0.001 of a second behind Adam.
0.1. Yeah, it was a great race. I don't quite know what really happened halfway through it, but it's racing with people I don't really know, which is the strangest thing about it. I mean, but yeah, everyone was reasonably fair, I think, and it was I wouldn't say clean racing, but classic sort of 270 racing, to be honest. But yeah, it's just a great race all round, to be honest. I think Adam did a great job to beat me to the line, to be honest, which is fair on him.
Yeah, brilliant. It was great to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
Give you something interesting to watch.
Yeah, it definitely does. If we've got time, I just wanted to grab a quick word with Bruno. I don't know where he is actually. But actually, while we're waiting, I've got Dan here. Dan, can I have a quick word with you, Dan? You had a great battle with Alex, didn't you? Alex Coombs.
He's a great driver, up from Academy, I think. So it was really good to have a good battle. We had a bit of damage, so it slowed me down a little bit. Don't want to complain, but yeah.
It was the tyre smoke we could see from your car.
Race, damage is on the tyre, but still really enjoyed it. Just pipped into the line, which I'm sure he won't be happy with, but it was a good race, thanks. Yeah, enjoyed it.
Well done. Very competitive. Right, so 3 tenors are next, so we'll hand back to Dave and Chris.
Thank you very much, Sam. Yes, cars already onto the grid for our final race of this Saturday early evening. It is now here at Snetterton. It is the Vertex Watches Caterham 7 310R Championship. The qualifying session took place just before our first race earlier on. Now, last year it was Harry Cook who took the 310R title. He's moved up into the Caterham 7 UK Championship. Taylor O'Flanagan, who was runner-up to him last season, take the title. Well, he's put his yellow machine on the front row for this race, but in pole position is number 22 Hugo Bush from Surrey in the DPR Motorsport car. That's despite having a couple of times deleted in qualifying as well for exceeding track limits. So Hugo Bush and Taylor O'Flanagan on the front row of the grid. Second row from Germany in the Motul sponsored car, Lars Alexander Hoffmann alongside 88's Ryan Wilby. He makes the move up from the 270Rs last season. Row 3, number 4 Duncan Mallet and number 96 Peter Mott, who is the first of the AM class drivers, new for this year, Pro-Am and AM categories. More on that in a moment in the 310R category. Row 4, Ben Lopez Appleton, number 5, and 21 Charlie Lower. Fifth row, James Empson, number 20, and 77 Harvey Lawrence. Back of the field, 38 Jeff Price and number 16 Philip Bianchi on row 6. Philip Bianchi, the man from Malta, he had his practice times disallowed, so starts from the back. So slightly new look to the 310R Championship this season, Chris, with the introduction of a Pro-Am category.
Yeah, just adding a little bit more interest and balance to. So if you're a champion, or if you've had great results from previous championships, then you're going to go into that Pro-Am Championship. But it's to give the drivers maybe a little bit further back a chance at that AM champion. But if they're getting overall podiums, they're just like with the 7 Championship UK, they will be moved up at the championship level. But it's good to see them innovating. They've got a slightly different qualification system as well. So we're going to have the qualifying session they had earlier. The fastest lap set the grid for this race. The second fastest sets the grid for the second race, and then the final race of the weekend that we're going to see tomorrow, they will have a random number reverse grid order at the front. So I think it's maybe between the top 6 drivers can get reversed. So a number will be pulled as they head down here. So we've got how many? It's 12 20 cars, is it, in this grid ready for us in the 310R, the fourth step of the Caterham Motorsport ladder. So we've seen the Roadsports already, we've seen the 270R. Well, if you take a 270R, you give it a little bit more power and, more importantly, a limited slip rear differential, then you turn it into a 310R car, and that's what we're seeing here. This is the final evolution of the Academy car that they will have all started with maybe 4, maybe even more years ago. And again, the championship where you can have team support, and the drivers in this championship are very well versed. So we just see the 270Rs scrapping it out. Well, the 310Rs had an absolutely epic barnstormer season last year. Every single event they had was really good fun to watch, and I'm hoping that this little bit more compressed field, but that certainly the quality is not diminished. I looked through this order of the drivers here. I cannot pick a winner. I'm normally quite good at picking out who's going to do well in a season, but I pretty much put a dot by everybody's name. Everyone's got a chance here, even with people like Bianchi starting from the back of the field. He can easily be towards the front of this field by the checkered flag. But you've got to say that people like Taylor O'Flanagan coming in here, he's going to be really thirsty to win this championship this year. I spoke to him briefly earlier in the this weekend, and he is ready to go and win it. He's right up there. Hugo Bush isn't doing a full season, so whilst he is there on that pole position, he may not be figuring when it comes to the championship points. So Lars Hoffmann has been so close for so many years. Can he do anything about it? And Ryan will be shoving his car up into 4th place. He's going to be delighted with that, ahead of Duncan Mallet and Peter Mott doing a great job in that AM class to find himself on row 3 as well. Let's see what this pocket rocket race of 310R championship machinery can get on and do. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's hope it's a good one.
Well, in qualifying, the entire grid of a dozen cars was covered by less than 2 seconds, just over 1.8 seconds to be precise. That's how close it's going to be. This lot are going to just gallop round in a pack, I think, for the entire race here. Hugo Bush in the Dayglow orange and grey car on pole, alongside Taylor O'Flanagan in yellow. In the Motul colours, Lars Hoffmann of Germany, the red and white on row 2, alongside the orange car of Ryan Wilby. Sort of a patchwork design on his car. Duncan Mallet in the black car with the turquoise flashes on row 3, alongside Peter Mott in black and yellow on the number 96 car. Philip Bianchi in the white and red car lines up at the tail of the field. We'll get the all clear from the marshals and then get this race underway. 20 minutes for the Vertex Caterham 7 310R Championship is go, and down towards Riches they go for the first time, all 12-way cleanly. Watch for Bianchi from the back of the field, charging up the outside. O'Flanagan makes a good start, Bush covering the inside, Hoffmann moves out wide. Mallet is there covering the inside, I think that is in the number 4, and they are all together in a pack as they head up towards the hairpin for the first time. It is Taylor O'Flanagan in the number 11 who's just about got the advantage. Bush on the inside of Hoffmann, and a couple of cars running out wide there. That was Mallet and the number 21 of Charlie Lower, but they've all got round the first couple of corners okay.
They have, yes. So it was a bit tight as they went. I think Mallet locked his wheels up as they went into that hairpin. It just looked like he just took a few people out wide with him they all sort of carried on facing in the right direction. Taylor O'Flanagan made that best start, and actually it was the second phase of his start that got him in the lead. Ryan Wilby fully locked up both his front wheels. There's not much grip on the inside there. Remember, we might have had some fluid down on the track from the previous race, and that will still be having an effect, although most of it hopefully has evaporated away if it was fuel. But Taylor O'Flanagan hanging the rear of that car out just slightly as he went round Hamilton's that time. Hugo Bush has managed to stop the rot in 2nd place, and it's Lars Hoffmann, forever the bridesmaid. Can he make it through this season? Ryan Wilby is injecting his car firmly up there in the front battle. We're good to see him up there. Duncan Mallet survived that lock-up and continues on.
There's the Kermit the Frog liveried car of number 20 towards the back of the field. That's James Empson. Great livery on that car. They really have put some imagination into the colours of the Caterhams this year, I have to say. Lars Hoffmann trying to get round the outside. Hugo Bush on the inside. Ryan Wilby on the inside. And Taylor O'Flanagan's been swallowed up there at the end of the Bentley straight, being pushed by Wilby. Duncan Mallet, where did he come from there? Through from about 6th into 3rd. That was brilliant.
That won't work every single lap, but it did work for him that time, didn't it? There's Jeff Price making up good places over the top of Ben Lopez Appleton, and Mott there's drifted right the way back, I think, from maybe where he started, so keep an eye out to see what's happened to him. Ryan Wilby's out wide. Has he got a problem? I think maybe he's got a problem with that car. It looked like it's slowing, and he's going to be out that battle, so we saw him having a lock-up issue, but it looks like he might be heading to the pits, maybe with a problem there. You can see it's going slow, so I'm not sure.
Yes, he's heading into the pit lane. That's a great shame.
Real great shame to lose that, but we've got side by side, so it's Hugo Bush Lars Hoffman out front. Taylor O'Flanagan's drifted backward after Duncan Mallet had that sort of manoeuvre into Brundle and Nelson, but it's going to be this front quartet then leading the way in the 310R. The first of 3 races for them. Hugo Bush looking to the inside, does jink to the inside, brakes late, gets it all stopped up. Nice manoeuvre by him early in this race.
So things starting to settle down then in our final race of the day here at Snetterton, the Caterham 7-310R Championship. We will be seeing another addition to the race tomorrow when Paul Goldstein arrives, racing up at Alton Park with another series today, but he's a very quick driver indeed, the reigning Roadsports champion if memory serves me correctly, and skipping 270R to move into 310R as Hoffman makes a move to the inside on Hugo Bush. O'Flanagan under fire for third from I think that's the 21 of Charlie Lower, and it's Lars Hoffman, the man from Germany, who has taken the lead.
Good to see Charlie Lower back in the championship and moving himself way forward. He's I think he'll be a bit disappointed where he qualified, but he's not licking his wounds. He's right up there, and like you say, Paul Goldstein was Roadsport champion last year, but he did do some outings in other championships in his 270R car, so he has now converted that to be the 310R car, and he's racing all over the country, having a whale of a time in these Caterhams. Can't get enough, as we can't get enough of this racing, as Hoffman's coming down towards us, heading Hugo Bush, who's actually got Taylor O'Flanagan alongside him. Charlie Lower looking to the outside. Duncan Mallet, can he do anything around the outside this time? No, he's going to have a little bit of chill out this time round, and I'm not surprised. Probably scared himself a little bit last time out. Is that Jeff Price moving his way up then further up? I think it is. So he's the lead of that AM Championship. He's right on the tail of that lead quartet.
Yes, that is Price from the back row of the grid alongside Philip Bianchi, who's only 3 places further back in the order, of course, down to 11 cars now. Sadly, Ryan Wilby pulled into the pits at the end of the opening lap. Another driver who had incidentally been hoping to be on the grid this weekend, Richard Coop, but sadly he's out injured at the moment, so get well soon to Richard. He'd love to be in this battle as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'd love to have him here as well, so good. Get well soon and get back in that car, and we'll see you later in the season as we go side by side once more. O'Flanagan versus Hoffman. Charlie Lower now is into that 3rd place and looking to see whether he can do anything about moving up forwards. Hugo Bush has lost out in this phase of the race. Duncan Mallet around the outside of him then as they head down towards Wilson this time through. There is Jeff Price, the number 38 car, coming up quickly to catch this lead group. Going to see whether he can act as interference and put his car where it's not wanted as he's going on through. Price and Mott having a little battle behind, getting back through, but he has lost places in the early part of this race. Duncan Mallet now heads Hugo Bush as well, so Bush is struggling. Our pole position sitter is now drifted all the way back to 5th.
So here they come, 1/4 distance achieved as the leaders head into Agostini. This is the battle towards the back of the field. We said it'd all be one big cluster this race. Bianchi on the outside there, kicking up a bit of dust ahead of them. That was possibly Jeff Price. Here come the leaders. It's Hoffman from O'Flanagan, Lower in 3rd place, then Bush is 4th, Duncan Mallet in 5th, and looks as though Lower was a little bit sideways there going into the right-hander. Philip Bianchi heading up the 2nd group. Who's that in behind him? The black and yellow sort of liveried car there. I think it's
Mott, so I think Mott continues to drift backwards a little bit, but he's in that AM class and he's still in that 2nd place as they go through. Charlie Lower loves to set his car up very rear end happy, so you will rarely see it pointing in the right direction. He's moving up though into that 2nd place behind Taylor O'Flanagan. Then these 2 cars going nose to tail. Lars Hoffman will have to sit into that 3rd place as Lower just protects the inside through bomb hole then. Didn't want to let him up the inside through bomb hole there, as then comes Hugo Bush and Duncan Mallet. Jeff Price still hasn't managed to bridge that gap yet, and then comes the Price, Mott, and then Bianchi has drifted. He's coming from the back of the field, isn't he? So he has got enough pace in his car, whether he can get past the cars he needs to in order to join this battle. They're coming up towards that halfway mark, so he really needs to get through and pass Mott at this point.
Yes, the reason for my confusion over where Peter Mott's position was is his transponder wasn't working, so he'll have to be manually timed by TSL as the leaders go over the line. O'Flanagan and Lower together. Lower going round the outside. Looks like he's taken the lead of this race. Hoffman in 3rd, then Bush Mallett's behind, and Price now starting to get aboard as well. So Flanagan back up the inside to retake the lead into Wilson's hairpin if he gets the car stopped in time, and Hoffman trying to get up the inside of both of them. With 6 of them this close together and changing positions so much, this is more like a greyhound race.
It's crazy, isn't it? Side by side by side. It's just exactly as they were off the grid, right? And there's still some wheel banging going on there. Real brave stuff by Hoffman, hanging on around the outside. In fact, we had 2 kind of outside manoeuvres that worked there, but Charlie Lower is still now back down into 3rd place. He's not willing to give up on this at all, is he? Hoffman still sitting there just behind Taylor O'Flanagan, who's probably looked the most consistent out front, so he's got pace in that car, but it's going to be angry all the way to the end of this race. Hugo Bush still managed to sort of take a little bit of a breath and a breather, and he'll be back into that battle in no time at all.
Yes, Jeff Price has, I think he made an error through the hairpin there, the 38. That's why he's dropped back a little from this fight. You can see he's dropping back into the clutches now, in fact, of Bianchi, who's next in the order. Then it's Mott, Simon Lopez, Appleton, the number 5, Lawrence and Emson rounding out the 11 runners. So here come the lead runners down the Bentley straight. They start to fan out, trying to break the toe. Hoffman has moved to the front. Here comes O'Flanagan back on the inside, and Charlie Lower trying to go round the outside. He tried that move last lap around, but he couldn't make it stick then. Duncan Mallett again being brave on the inside in the black and turquoise car, but he remains 4th, and Hugo Bush, the pole sitter in this race, remains 5th.
Charlie Lower did hit the rear of Hoffman's car there, so there was a little bit of contact as they went through that complex. It's often really, like I've said earlier on, it's you're trying to slow a car down from 130 odd miles an hour down to about 50, 60 miles an hour, and it's not easy to do when the road's turning constantly to the left hand side. So there was a little bit of contact there, but didn't look like it was anything significant, nothing that's going to upset the radiator. We saw Harvey Lawrence there drifting a bit wide. He's 3rd place in our AM class championship at the moment, looking what he can do 4 wide as we go up the hill. Whoa. It is going to be Taylor O'Flanagan taking the lead once more. The Duncan Mallett in the number 4 round the outside. Then we got Hoffman, Charlie Lower, Hugo Bush. So it was literally everyone changed position.
I think Bush clipped the back of Lower there going into Riches. Nothing he can do to pull the car up in time. So Duncan Mallett's up to 2nd behind Taylor O'Flanagan. Yes, there was contact there because you can see the wing is hanging off on the back of Lower's car. There was a bit of a touch there. They head towards Palmer then, and it is Taylor O'Flanagan in the yellow machine up front ahead of the number 4 of Duncan Mallett. Here comes the Motor Oils car of Lars Alexander Hoffman. There goes the wing off the back of Charlie Lower's car. You just saw it go flying into the infield there. That's another one for the marshals to collect.
Nicely deposited though into the infield, not going to cause any problems. Here come Jeff Price and Matt Bianchi. So Bianchi and Price are now right up there with this, and so as soon as they go side by side at the next corner, they will be with them and battling. But it's Taylor O'Flanagan still out in front. Sort of majority of laps have been out front, but everyone else has swapped behind. There is Mallett looking like it's the first calm bit he's had of this race, but he's finding his way up into the 2nd place. Hoffman wide there. Charlie Lower had a sniff of the inside. It's not going to be good for either of them. That's going to give Hugo Bush a real run down the outside. He's going to get squeezed onto the grass wall. Big contact there. Very lucky to get away with that. You could see he had a run of speed and he had nowhere to use it. They squeezed onto the grass, and lucky to get away with it. They carry on going there as if nothing happened. Hugo Bush looking down the inside and makes it work. How did that happen?
Well, that was a very heart-in-mouth moment there. You do not want to be hitting a barrier at the speeds they were doing down there. So Charlie Lower's car has now got no rear wings at all. I think the reduced weight carrying him past Hugo Bush there, possibly having a 3rd. Meanwhile, almost unnoticed by us, Duncan Mallett's just taken the lead of this race at Brundle from Taylor O'Flanagan. So these 6 changing positions once again. Meanwhile, the fastest lap of the race, incidentally, has been done by Philip Bianchi, who's back in 7th place and who started at the back of the grid at 2 minutes 8.937. We'll see if that changes this time through. 9 minutes of the race to go over the line. Duncan Mallett has the lead by 1/10 of a second, but not for much longer. You can't finish a sentence without position change.
Yeah, so it is changing at every single chance here, and I get the wind's sort of dying a little bit, but it's still a headwind as they go down Brundles and into Agostini, so that's where most of the overtaking, but they are also making it work for them into turn 1. Charlie Lower, Hugo Bush, Hoffman continue to trip each other up and therefore are losing ground to the lead too, and they won't have gone unnoticed. They will be seeing whether they do want to work together to try and keep that gap. Hugo Bush looking on the inside. That outside line's kind of working today. Hoffman round the outside of Palmer's, it is Palmer's, and doesn't normally work out, so it's working today. I wonder whether that fluid that we saw earlier is just still leaving it a little bit greasy. Hugo Bush squeezing down the inside. Remember, he's not doing a full season this year. He's just looking for results, having to slip into that 5th place at the moment, though. Hoffman losing out as Charlie Lower swings his car. He'd say he really does set his car up for a bit of oversteer, and really showing how that can make the car look exciting out there.
A little bit of a twitch there as he goes through the right-hander at Oggies. Taylor O'Flanagan leads him through Williams onto the Bentley straights. Lars Hoffman coming under fire from Bush now. They start to weave to try and break the toe. You can see it's as if they're trying to warm their tyres up, isn't it? A green flag lap, but this is full racing speed. Duncan Mallet does it again, takes the lead into Brundle. Where's Hugo Bush trying to place his car? He's trying to cut ahead of Charlie Lower, but he can't quite do so. Hoffman in 3rd position, and Bianchi's caught up to them as well now. He's up into 6th position, ahead of Jeff Price, who's down to 7th overall, but still leading the AM class. There he is, the red and black car, just ahead of, closing on him now, James Empson in the number 20, the Kermit the Frog car from the back.
Yeah, so he introduced that new livery last year, and it's good to see it still out here, but Duncan Mallet now leads. It was synchronised swimming for them as they went down the back straight. No contest, as it was O'Flanagan just deciding to slip in behind him as they went in. They're saying they don't really want to be involved in this battle that's going on behind them, and as the more they work together, which looks like they are doing, the more they've got a chance of keeping that gap. Charlie Lower springing down the inside, Hugo Bush the loser on the outside. Bianchi's going to have a run on him as they head down to the Wilson hairpin this time through then, but it is still Taylor O'Flanagan and Duncan Mallet working together at this stage of the race. 6 minutes 30 to go, but if this battle catches them, because they're for whatever reason, if they do manage to calm it all down, that'll be the end of their truce.
Bianchi up to 5th now. He's got ahead of Hugo Bush, and a measure of how the field is closing up. All this lot battling it out, taking time off each other. The number 20 of James Empson in 8th place has just done the fastest lap of the race with a 2:08.504, because he's got more clear air to work in, and you can see the next group is closing in on this 6 at the front.
They're still way off their lap record, which is a 2:07.9, so there's a little bit of time to be found, and maybe the conditions this evening just aren't, with the track having been abused a little bit earlier on in the day, maybe just not conducive to those super fast laps. But as you say, you need that little bit of air gap to allow you to run that car and not get tripped up, and obviously going past someone or getting past on a lap is not going to help you get anywhere near those kind of lap records. But here we go, Charlie Lower and Lars Hoffman continue their battle. Charlie Lower very wide there, that's going to trigger a track limits. There is a sensor on the outside of that bit of the track there, so it's an automated award of a track limit infringement by going out wide. Mallet and Taylor O'Flanagan do. Charlie Lower on the grass there as he heads down. Didn't really have a car's width there to play with, but he decides he's going to sit in line. But that battle, the truce that the leaders have had, is about to disappear, because this battle's all coming back together again.
There's Empson, looks like he's got ahead of Jeff Price, who's dropping back a little. There's Harvey Lawrence in the 77, second in the AM division.
Yep, so he's right
behind
by
Price,
now,
so
yeah.
the battle is joined for that category now as well.
Yeah, so it's good to see that AM category coming together and going to start spicing up as well. So everyone out there has got something to fight for. Empson is going to see whether he can get back to his lead group of people and start earning more points. Here come the track limit warnings though, so let's keep an eye out for who those drivers are getting those warnings as we go side by side once more. Hoffman though, for the first time in a while, is going to have a look down the inside. Nothing to be done there. Mallet was able to protect that, but I think Hoffman's still going to have a little bit of a momentum down this back straight. Taylor O'Flanagan still managing to keep that lead. Hoffman looking down the inside, just about going to get that done, I think, over the top of Mallet, who's just going to be seeing whether he can hold on over the top of Charlie Lower. So it's all back together again. All throw the cards up in the air. We'll see where they land.
Well, Hugo Bush made a bit of a mess of the hairpin there. He's lost a length or two to Charlie Lower's advantage. Lower could have a go for 3rd place here as they make their way down to Agostini. 4 minutes just over of this race to go. This is the battle behind between Empson, Price and Lawrence. Price and Lawrence, as we said, battling for the AM class lead. Jeff Price making a strong run through early on from the back of the grid, but now seems to be struggling.
Yeah, so he made such a lot of progress, and Harvey Lawrence is now right on his tail, and Peter Mott's up next, although he's got a 4.5 second gap to try and make up, so it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. But it's Taylor O'Flanagan, Lars Hoffman. How many times have we said that in the 310R? Charlie Lower's new in this year, and good to see him in the 310R machine. I'm not sure whether he's doing a full season, but it'd be great if he is. Lewis, then comes Duncan Mallett, then Hugo Bush. So Hugo Bush, who kind of has had a quiet period of this race and sort of still maintains that position, but he's still firmly in the place he needs to be to start seeing whether he can do anything about the end of this race. He started on pole position. Can he make it back to the front? We're going to have a synchronised swimming swap at the front there between Hoffman and Taylor O'Flanagan. Charlie Lowe looking down the inside of Duncan Mallett. Is Mallett going to be able to hold on around the outside? Yes, he is, as they turns into the inside of the Nelson corner. And Hugo Bush now maybe going to be losing out to Bianchi. No, Bianchi is, though, not made any progress since he caught up.
He's looking to. Certainly he's all over the back of Hugo Bush for that P5. Which drops away a little bit there through Coram. These 6 now clear of the second group. Hoffman's done the fastest lap, 2:08.443 for the German. He's now out in front. He was in P3 last time through.
I think Harvey Lawrence was ahead then of Price, so he's taken over that AM lead as they come across the line. They'll be starting their penultimate lap then, with Hoffman over the line first, but he already loses out that position. Taylor O'Flanagan as they go into turn 1. Mallett was in that third place, over the top of Lower. Bush, Bianchi, Emson got a bit of a gap still to work out, 3.5 seconds to do. Then Lawrence does come over, and he's already made a second gap over the top of Price. Peter Mott's still 3.5 seconds. He made up 1 second in that last one. Oh, that's Duncan Mallett getting taken out into the hairpin. I think that was maybe Bush down the inside there that pushed him wide, or maybe Charlie Lower, one of the two. It came to that quite late, but there's Charlie Lower having to really defend hard there as they've got sprung a gap now. So penultimate lap, they've only got one more lap to try and catch back up to this lead duo, otherwise it's going to be one of these two going to take the win.
Yeah, I think the red mist came down a bit for Hugo Bush. There's something hanging underneath his car there.
It's like a wheel arch.
Yeah, another wing being shredded, and he's now losing out to Philip Bianchi, who's trying to get through on the inside.
Been dispatched with now, but here's the replay of what happened then. So they're going to come into the left. Yeah, so it was a Hugo Bush pushing Duncan Mallett there. Duncan Mallett remonstrating a little bit. I think he should have got his car back under control. He did look like he was manoeuvred out of the way by Hugo Bush there into the Wilson hairpin. But these two have got a bit of a gap. They've got 1.5 laps left to try and catch that gap over the top. Bianchi moves the place up by warrant of what Mallett getting manoeuvred back through the field. But it is now currently Taylor O'Flanagan heads Hoffman, so into this. They didn't do the swap, or are they going to do the swap? I'm not sure what they want to do. They're not sure where they want to be. I don't even know whether they know yet whether it's the last lap or not, but they will have one more lap after this still to go. Hugo Bush is now leading Charlie Lower, who is over the top of Bianchi. There's Duncan Mallett, who's going to be coming back with a head of steam. Emson is now in touch with those few cars in front of him, and it looks like Jeff Price has lost out in that battle to Harvey Lawrence, who's making good progress.
Yes, Harvey Lawrence going well up there, the number 77, the man from Somerset, in 8th place overall, but it's still O'Flanagan versus Hoffman at the front of the field. Then this three-way battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Duncan Mallett trying to recover behind them after his off earlier on when he was pushed wide at the hairpin. Last lap of the day here at the Snetterton 300 circuit. Hoffman and O'Flanagan swapping places once again.
A bit of a rough sound for one of those two leading cars. I don't know whether exhaust just being a bit pinched or something like that, but they certainly don't look like they've lost any speed. But the gap between them and the chasing pack looks fatal at this point as far as the chasing group. It's not too much, but I don't think they've got enough time to get it done. Charlie Lower now having to defend since that manoeuvre at the hairpin. It just looks like his car's lost a little bit of speed. Bianchi then is now the one putting the pressure on that, and Hugo Bush has managed to spring a gap. He may well have to go and speak to the stewards after this race, though, about that contact with Mallett too. So in the no man's land, is it going to be the only thing? The clock has tripped to 0, and that gap is just about hanging on in there. Is it going to be enough as they go down the Bentley Straight? It's going to be exciting, that's for sure.
It certainly is. Yes, Bianchi is within range of Charlie Lower now in this battle for the final podium spot. Great if he could get on the podium from the back row of the grid, but it's between O'Flanagan and Hoffman, I would say, for the race victory here. Hugo Bush now up into 3rd position. The pole sitter I don't think has led any portion of this race, but you never know, he could still do it. This is Caterham racing and anything can happen.
Anything can happen, but at the moment Hoffman is in a good position, but I think Taylor O'Flanagan is in a better one. He is going to be catching up all the way down this straight. He'll be able to spring that manoeuvre, and as long as he is able to hold on into the final corner, that's what he's hoping for sure. As he heads down then the inside, he does make it ahead. Hoffman lets that happen. He's going to be hoping that the toe is enough. Hugo Bush has got a little bit of a comfort gap over Charlie Lower and Bianchi, who had to make a little bit of a lock up on the inside there. Charlie Lower, they make it through the complex. Charlie Lower's got a bit of momentum. Duncan Mallett's going to come back fully involved, and he's going to be a little bit angry after that manoeuvre. Who's going to win out the first two, though? They're going to be going head to toe for this out of the final corner. At the moment, has Hoffman got enough to take over O'Flanagan?
Here they come through Caterham for the last time up towards Murray's. Is Hoffman going to sling it up the inside? No, he's not. He's going to wait to try and slipstream the number 11 machine on the run up towards the checkered flag. Are they going to finish side by side? We're going to have yet another photo finish. Hoffman closes. He's not going to do it. It's O'Flanagan takes the win. Bush comes over in third. And Bianchi just fourth ahead of Lower and Mallet. Margin of victory for O'Flanagan, 0.072 of a second over Lars Hoffman. He's compensated with the fastest lap. Empson comes in seventh. Harvey Lawrence wins the AM class ahead of Jeff Price. Mott and Lopez Appleton completing the finishers.
Great stuff from the 310R. Like I said, it's not always the quantity of these grids. They do make the quality of this 310R grid, and just the knowledge out there about how do you race these cars and what you have to do to win. Taylor O'Flanagan, our Academy champion from past days and multiple Caterham champion, has actually managed to hold it all together, somehow come out on top, and it didn't look likely, did it? But he was in that key place as we went onto the Bentley Straight, and just with the headwind that we had down the Bentley Straight and the tailwind into the last corner, just not able to overcome. The Hoffman wasn't able to overcome him on the way up to the line. But here's confirmation then of the result.
0.072 the winning margin for Taylor O'Flanagan over Lars Hoffman of Germany. Hugo Bush, the pole sitter, fighting back to take third ahead of Phil Bianchi. Great run through the field for him from the back row of the grid after being excluded from qualifying. Charlie Lower marks his debut in the 310Rs with a fifth ahead of the unlucky Duncan Mallet. James Empson in seventh, then eighth overall for Harvey Lawrence, who wins the AM class ahead of early leader Jeff Price and Peter Mott. Ben Lopez Appleton the final finisher, because of course we lost Ryan Wilby into the pits at the end of lap number 1. So that wraps up racing for today. We can shortly go down to Sam in Parc Ferme to talk to our race winner and a few others.
Now these three guys, they know how to race with each other. They have raced with each other for so many years now. It's just so good to watch. Let's go and speak to Taylor. He will be so happy with this. Taylor, fantastic start to the season. That's amazing to come away with a win for the first race.
Yeah, feeling super good. It was hard, it was chaos, but I felt good, felt like I had pace all race, so just about biding the time, and then when we found gaps, trying to extend it a bit. So yeah, super tough with that. On to the next one.
That's it. You and Lars got away a little bit, didn't you? So you're on your own.
Yeah, he was going really well. I think at the start it was me and Duncan Mallet, and then at the end Lars. So yeah, got to try and break the train of cars in this, otherwise you're going to be fighting for 5th, 6th before you know it. So yeah, very happy with that. Onwards and into the season.
That's it. Well done.
Thank you very
Excellent. Right, Lars. Great racing with Taylor and Hugo, and like I was just saying, you three guys, you're so used to each other. You know how each other race, don't you?
Well, we do it since a couple of years, and 310 is a hard place to be. You will experience it soon. But yeah, was fun, was good, and absolutely hard, but not over the limit. So happy with it.
Good starting place for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done, Lars.
Thank you.
Right, we'll go and speak to Hugo. But I will say, Lars comes over from Germany for every race weekend, so that's commitment. Hugo, it's lovely to see you three boys racing again together. And yeah, it was great to watch from our side.
Yeah, just got shuffled back to 5th early doors and kind of stuck there for most of the race. So a bit frustrating, really, but 2 more to go.
But you made it onto the podium, so that's good.
I did, yeah, but we want a bit more than that, but yes, yeah.
Well done.
Cool, thank you.
Right, I might just see if I'll have a quick word with Charlie, because he's new to this championship. You have to excuse my voice, it is going a little bit, but it's held on for today, so that's good. Let's have a quick word with Charlie. Sorry, Charlie. I just want to have a quick word, because obviously, you're new to 310. We spoke to you earlier this morning.
Yeah.
That was a great race. You pulled a mega move at the hairpin. I watched that. It was brilliant.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was mega. Everyone raced pretty fairly, to be honest. I know I thought it was going to be a bit scrappy, but actually, even though I've lost 2 wings, it was only rubbing. It was pretty safe. So, yeah, everyone drove super well, had a lot of fun. The car developed a misfire at the end, so I had no go out of any corners. So we were well on for a podium for sure. I had 3rd place secured, but the misfire kept coming back to me and dragging me down. But it was great racing, nevertheless, and I'm sure Team Perry Motorsport will get the car sorted for tomorrow.
That's it. You'll be ready and fighting for it tomorrow. But you were making great progress at the start of that race, so roll on tomorrow.
Yeah, it was much better than qualifying, that's for sure.
Brilliant. Well done. Right, that is it for all the Caterham racing today, so I will hand back to Dave and Chris in the comments box.
Thanks very much to Sam and Ian down on the ground today, our trackside reporters. And we wrap up for day one here at the Snetterton 300 circuits. But there's a very busy day of racing coming up tomorrow. We kick off at 9:25 a.m. with the Dutch Barn Vodka Caterham 7 Championship UK, followed by the 270Rs. We also have a qualifying session for the Adrian Flux MG Owners Club Championship, because they're joining us tomorrow with over 30 cars entered. MGs of all ages will be taking part in their 2 races tomorrow, plus our full programme of Caterhams and the Virtue Mini Challenge with their 2 races taking place in their trophy category as well. But that's about all for today. Chris Hutchinson, any final thoughts?
No, just it's so fun to be back out here racing and watching everyone doing what they do. And you got everything that we saw today, plus a whole ton more to do again tomorrow. So I can't wait. And I shall be sleeping with great speed and anticipation.
Yes, I think I'm going to head off to find a pub first, followed by a long sleep ahead of tomorrow.
Maybe a bit of food, yeah.
No drinking and driving, though, of course. But thank you very much to everyone here at Snetterton today, marshals, recovery crews, and everyone else for bringing us the action. Thanks to our camera crews as well. And we do it all again tomorrow. We'll start off at around 9:15 a.m. We go now, so be with us bright and early here on BARC TV. But on behalf of Chris Hutchinson, Sam Parker, Ian Waterhouse, and everyone else, this is commentator Dave Goddard signing off for day one. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow.